You're on.
Welcome. I'd like to call the Tuftonboro Board of Selectmen meeting for Wednesday, May 1st, 2024 to order. I would start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I see we have some members of the public here. Is there any public input before we get into the particulars of the meeting?
I'm good.
I'm here for public input. Philip Hunter. I read in the Tuftonboro Times that came out a week or so ago that we potentially were going to get rid of access to the ice at the 19 Mile Bay beach because it causes too much damage and we can't afford to take on the burden of that damage. So I just wanted to speak to that. I personally don't ice fish, but I feel like the ice fishing has been a long-term part of our community, and there are a lot of people, whether they're from town or out of town, that do partake and contribute to our town around the ice fishing. And it would seem to me that there would be some manner that we could create a winter access launch. I don't know if it needs to be studied or if someone has a solution. But it would seem to me there'd be a solution rather than shutting it down because of damage that happened. Second thing I wanted to talk about was the town transfer station traffic redirection. It seems to have caused an uproar and a lot of headache for people. I know people don't like change. I'm not one of those. I can deal with it. I think it would go a long way, just my opinion, if they just had an explanation of why they changed the pattern at the dump versus the blank stare with the shoulder shrug that says, and that's not just me, that's what everybody's been getting. And so I think that people are finding that irritating and jarring, and it's adding to their displeasure of change. So I don't know if it's going to get undone or not. I think it's going to be a problem with the swap shop now that the swap shop opened this week. But we can wait and see. But if there was some sort of explanation as to why the traffic pattern changed, that would be helpful to know where that was coming from. And thirdly, I want to talk about the wharf. It looks beautiful, looks wonderful. Looks like it might be a little wider than it used to be, I don't know. I'm wondering what restrictions are going to be placed on the new wharf. It seems like it appears as a bystander that it's done at a whim, at someone's whim, as to what the restrictions are. No, this year we're going to have 15-minute parking. Last year we had 2-hour parking. Next year is going to be 30-minute parking. I don't know. Is there some sort of guideline or regulation about what is going to be allowed and what's not going to be allowed? And is there going to be any input as to what's going to be allowed for parking? Because I feel like in the past there was never any input. It was up to the police chief to monitor boat parking. Seemed like a little stretch of the imagination there to have the person in charge of our road system being in charge of our boat parking system. So I would love to have some say in that, or just some understanding of how that's going to be regulated. Secondly, on the wharf, I was wondering if anything was going to be done or was in the plans to dredge or fix or repair the western side of the wharf so that it's usable to folks. Right now we've got this beautiful wharf and half of it's pretty much unusable. That's my second question on the wharf. And the third point on the wharf is it appears that we have eliminated all barge access to the wharf. I don't know if that was intentional or if there's a master plan, is there another place that barges can come and go, in to service the islands and their community, our island community that we have? We do a lot of, there's a lot of construction that happens on the lake. There's a lot of people that rely on that. There's a lot of people on the islands that rely on people to be able to do work on their property. But if we've shut off the primary landing, I don't know where else we're gonna land. We could go to Hurlburt Way next to the Marriott's. I don't think that would go over too well for very long. But other than that, I think that's the only other location that I know of. I'm sure there are others. Pier 19 is the most convenient for a barge service in the town of Tuftonboro. I don't think we're planning on opening up Melvin Wharf or Melvin River to barge service. So, I don't know. So as the end to my public input, do I get any responses, or I just get to lament on and wonder if something ever comes?
Well, there's always lamenting. Everybody's going to do that. The first question, refresh my memory. The first question?
Ice access.
Ice access. We've talked about that on numerous occasions, and no decisions have been made, and things have just been floated around the table. We have a problem down there with people getting on and off the ice in the winter. They're doing damage. Nobody's claiming responsibility. They're leaving it up to the town to repair this damage. So it's a problem. What do we do about it? Do we start to include a budget line every year? Do we put $10,000 in the budget every year for beach repair or whatever you want to call it, guardrail repair, that type of thing? If that's what the people want us to do, we'll put a budget line in there and pay for damage every year. But until somebody steps up to the plate and says, geez, I did it, I'm sorry.
So is that the only option that's been floated? You said several things have been floated.
Okay.
No, not several things have been floated.
We never said that there's not gonna be any access for ice fishing from the beach.
Oh, the Tuftonboro Times,
They can,
I know that's not your voice, but
Okay.
let it sort of infer that.
we may not let them drive through the gate if they're gonna keep busting everything, so they can walk out on the ice and fish all they want. Or put up a tent. It just as Bob said, I mean, there's nobody taking responsibility. The damage that was done this year was just random stuff that didn't need to exist. It wasn't tearing up the blocks that form the ramp. It was actually tearing out a fence, part of the fence that's up there.
That someone, like ran through or something.
We don't know.
Yeah,
Oh.
but we had no idea. I mean, I suppose we put security cameras up, but there's so many regulations about what we can and cannot.
And it was definitely
record.
related to getting on and off the ice.
It happens every winter.
And it happened this winter.
So I don't know, I have not seen
Yeah.
it, I haven't seen pictures or any, it's not snowplow related, it's,
Well, we don't plow down there. Not where the damage happened.
okay, so I didn't know that.
So that's the issue at hand.
Yeah.
We haven't made any decisions about what we're going to do or what we're not going to do. Right
So
now,
I guess
just-
what I was leaning to is maybe make it so that there is a, instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, we could say, okay, go to the town and say, to put in a proper winter access is going to be $50,000, what do people think
But
of
there is a
that?
proper winter access there now.
Oh, and they just,
Yeah, there's an opening in the guardrail that you can drive
And
through.
it's actually
There's a
paved with,
concrete
Oh, that's what I thought.
pavers that go down into the water. So we created
that's what I thought, so I didn't really.
access. Yeah, but
and there's limits
People
to what
damaged
we
it.
can do. DES limits what we can do. And that goes to your question about the pier. We approached them about dredging out the west side. They're not interested at all.
Not at all, no.
They won't give us a dredge and fill on that. And I don't know, I'm not in the barge business, but I didn't think anything substantially changed on that western side.
What's all posted, post.
Okay.
It's solid posts. There used to be a gap, so you could pull a barge up to put a little skid steer or excavator or
Right.
whatever on and off your barge, but now you can't.
Well, like Chip said, I'm not a barge person,
Yeah,
and this thing was out at public hearing for a long time,
yeah.
or in the public eye, I should say. We did have a public hearing, and it was in the public eye for a long time. Nobody spoke up and said anything against it.
Well, and I will sort of differ a little. I did not come to a meeting, but I did raise the question a couple of times, and I did come in and ask to see plans a couple of times, and it was never put forward as this is the plan that is then approved. There was, oh, there's this, and there's the canopy, oh, that got shot down, then that went back, and then it was this, and so it was a long, you're right, it was a long ongoing evolution of, but I don't know that the final plan was ever presented publicly.
I'm pretty certain we had a public hearing, did we not?
Well, I was gonna say, you probably could have had a public hearing, but it wasn't put out, like, for the general public unless you came to a meeting.
That's what the public hearing is for.
I understand, I got out of work early today
I
to
mean, we
come to
can have
this
a
meeting,
chat.
and I could do that every week, but I'm not.
We can have a chat with our engineers, see, you know, they could remove every other post or something. I mean, there isn't.
It would just be a matter of taking two posts and nipping them down at the
Yeah,
edge.
the west side of the dock is really not for anything but outboard powered small
Correct,
or canoes or
and
whatever.
that's where the barges typically pulled in.
If there's options available, we can ask.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's all it was before, there just was a space where there was no posts, and that's where the barges would pull up.
It certainly wasn't our intent to eliminate access.
yeah, because we have,
And that was what was asked of me. I mean, I don't have a barge, so I'm not barging, but I know that other people, we do have a cottage right there, and we watch 5 days a week. There's barges to pull in and out of there, and
right,
I don't think they're quite aware yet that some have, some, because it's been brought up to me.
Well, we'll talk to our engineer and
yeah.
see what he
'cause we did-
says.
You spoke of Herbert Way. We did quash that usage because of, you know, it's just not an appropriate use of that boat ramp for barges to come rolling in there. So our intention was to keep the barge traffic centralized to 19 Mile Bay.
So what, so
And now,
what,
and
so
now we've
now you quash that.
screwed that up, haven't we?
Mhm.
Right.
And as far as the other rules about how we're managing Pier 9, Union Wharf,
The parking.
I don't think we have any intention of changing what is existing. Right?
I don't think we've done for them at all.
No.
Well, so that was my question. I'm not even sure what existing was because there were conflicting signs on the board. Depending on
I thought,
what-
guys here, I should ask him, I thought we had fixed that problem last year.
Well, we changed police chiefs now, so
Maybe,
maybe we need to refresh his memory of how things should be. There are ordinances on the town website about the parking and all that, should delineate how it should be done. And that can vary, of course, and be changed at any point in time. But, yeah, there was a car down there all summer that never moved,
yeah.
And that had a handicap placard in it,
but it never moved.
but it never moved.
So-
And I'm sorry, and I'll clarify. I was talking about the boat parking.
Oh.
And you're right, because that car parking is another can of worms
Yeah, the other
that I
one.
wasn't referring to.
Okay.
So,
That's what I was
talking
thinking.
about
But to answer your question,
on the wharf part.
we have no intentions of changing what is existing.
Okay.
Clarifying might be a better approach.
Yeah. And you had a question in the middle. Number two.
Transfer
What was-
station.
The transfer station. Oh, the man to ask just walked into the building. We did not make that decision. I want to dump that on Chris's lap. What's that?
We approved.
We approved it, but yeah, based on Chris's recommendation, and he's the one to answer the question. So if you want to stick around to when he comes in, maybe we can get that
So
clarified.
you don't recall what the reasoning was that you approved, why you approved it?
The reasoning was, so I'm Audrey Town Administrator, and it was so that the traffic's not crossing, and then people are not, bringing their recycles in a trash bag and then having, because they're not circling back and getting rid of their trash. So it's creating, additional work for the employees to keep bringing trash back to where it should be going in the first place, so it's an
I
effort
assumed
to.
that was part of it.
Yeah, it was an improvement, so for both the traffic and the flow of the trash, and, I like the idea of putting something out for the public, you know, either on our website or a map, when they go in or something, so they're not just getting, shrugging the shoulders. So,
Because that
I
really just
can
irritates
work
me.
with Chris to do
And
that.
I've heard about 50-50.
Right,
Some people love it, some people hate it.
Like I said, I don't know, I know it's irritating people that are getting the
Yeah,
shoulder. And
you have to load your car completely differently than
yeah,
you're
Right.
used to.
Exactly. And it does make sense that the traffic part, I did notice immediately that the trash can was removed
Yeah.
from the recycle building, and I know that had been a bone of contention that they didn't like to go empty that, because God forbid they carry the bag of trash up throughout the day. But, so at least now we have an answer, it's traffic
That's one of the reasons.
at the beginning.
mhm. And
back to the wharf, you think, our new police chief will just post whatever the town ordinance is on signage?
It'll be consistent with what the regulations are now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't have any intentions of changing it. We haven't talked about changing anything.
Okay. That was my question. So you will, follow up on the engineer about a barge access, or no?
Yeah.
I've already sent that email,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
so that had already come up before?
No, I did it while you were talking.
Oh, all right, very good.
All you gotta do is come in.
That's right.
So,
Awesome.
don't have an answer, but we will get an answer.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
You too. Anybody else for public comment? All right. Moving on, we have minutes to approve. We have public minutes from the meeting of Monday, April 15th. Other than a few spelling corrections, there's no content that needs to be changed.
Correct. I agree. I didn't have anything other than spelling.
I'll move that we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have non-public minutes from April 15th. I see no changes to be made in these. I'll move that we accept these minutes as written, and a second for discussion, please. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Do we want to make these unsealed?
Did you vote to seal them?
It hasn't been voted.
It hasn't been voted.
No, you're supposed to vote, sorry, for clarification
It's
on
okay.
process, you're supposed to vote when you come out of the meeting. And I think there was discussion not to seal them,
Okay, so they're not sealed.
so they're not sealed.
Fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
All those in favor of
Aye.
approving the minutes? Aye. Appointments, fire department update is the chief. Oh, you're standing in for the chief? Okay. You have your report.
So you can see our fire calls are up. We're at 109 for fire, 69 for EMS, 62 for special service, and special details for a total of 244 so far for the year. That's up about 58% from this time last year. And our inspections are also up. You can see 22 for gas, 2 for oil burner, 1 for pellet stove, and 14 for life safety, which also is up about 85% from the following year. You can see the summary below of some incident responses. It's not a list of all of them, just some of them.
Yep.
March 20, what's up?
And just due to time, we have a lot to do tonight.
Yep.
I'm not sure that we need to have
A summary of the incidents.
everything read.
Yeah.
I mean, the summary's nice for us to have, and they're available.
And yeah,
they're
no,
available to
I
the
read
public.
every one. I just,
if
and
necessary.
if there's anything specific you really need to call out, please do.
Nope, not on the incidents. And if you've got the update for the facilities, do you want me to read through that as well? Or are you comfortable?
No,
with
No, we've got the report, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay, the last thing that didn't make it to that report, Chief Thompson had previously brought up Mr. Bob McKenna recommending his application for employment. And to be onboarded, your request was that he complete his physical. That physical's been completed, and we're looking to onboard him with a team, and we're looking for your wishes to swear him in and complete the process.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I mean, we'd have to go into non-public if you wanna talk about anything else.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Well, we don't have, we haven't seen the application or anything, or, I mean, if this is we've done this before, if this is the recommendation of the chief to hire him, and all the processes have been completed, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's under the chief's purview, but.
Well,
I mean,
the
I know
selectmen,
ultimately we have
the selectmen do the hiring,
right,
ultimately, but if this is the chief's recommendation, I would accept a motion.
I'll second that.
No, I would accept a motion.
Well, I'll move to have the chief bring the applicant forward.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye?
Okay.
And I have nothing further if you don't.
Are you back at work? Or?
I am. Yep, so that's in here. I'm back on a light duty basis.
Good for you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And next is transfer station.
So, where are you going?
He's here.
Nice save.
Thanks.
Hi, Chris.
Good evening. Any questions on that? We're gonna do this, we're
I
going
just
into
like,
my
why are we getting nasty grants from DES?
Yes, we're sending in, have the receipt for it,
Okay.
but we didn't get the landfill closure report until April 15th.
Okay.
So it goes directly to DES, but I didn't follow on it until we got that master grant.
Right.
It needs a signature from somebody that's so we can pass the 3 cover sheets down, we'll be in compliance.
Okay.
So,
Because we're gonna be looking for an alteration. I don't need to have bad feelings going on.
right, no, we'll be all set with that.
Okay.
And so, I have a copy of a printout here from the Huntington Planning Commission, that was what has waste aid, we've talked about offline for so on and so forth. So it requires a signature on the agreement page, so that we can
Yeah, I thought we were gonna have,
forward with that, with the plan for something.
I mean, I thought we were gonna have him come in, we were gonna talk about it again, but I don't know about what.
With the what?
The hazardous waste.
Oh, yeah, hazardous waste collection day,
I don't
yes.
know if there's any questions I can answer, I don't know. Having me come in,
Yeah.
it's just an exercise.
Had you contacted,
Right, I invited him to come in and he basically had the same information as he presented last fall to
Yep,
you
yep.
about what they do. And last fall, it was Chris who was not ready, and Chris was ready this year, and so he thought he'd explain why. And then he also said that before they come, they will do a walk around, and maybe that's the best time for the selectmen to walk around with him so they can understand where there would be, questions or concerns. The insurance is all on the people handling the waste.
Yeah.
Chris is gonna have it on a non-open day.
Yeah, so we're interfering with that.
my biggest concern is the cost. There's gonna be a cost that's gonna be burdened to the town.
No,
They want toilet
well, I'm
facilities.
sorry, We have.
They want bodies, you need to supply
Yeah.
bodies for
Yeah.
traffic control and all that.
Yeah.
Are you prepared to provide all that?
We will, have volunteers coming down from Tampa and other towns, participating towns, to do the surveys and all that business. The only thing that we would incur would be to maybe pay a couple of our guys for the time they're there.
Mm-hmm.
I made it clear that, the region, if we're doing it at our facility, I want some of our people there, because we know the layout, and we know if something goes south, we want to be there, so I'll be there, and I'd like to at least, two of my guys there.
I'd like to know what this is gonna cost, ultimately. I mean, he must be able to,
But
determine.
we paid for it in our yearly fee, so that's included in our fee. We just have to supply the place. There was 9 towns, 9 donor towns that pulled out because they don't have a good place to do it. We all pay into the consortium, but we don't have anything this side of the lake left to do Hazel's place. So it's a benefit to our folks to have it here. Yeah, we'll be probably taking in the stuff from Tamworth and Sandwich and Ossipee, but, our folks have to take their stuff to Wolfboro once a month, pay for dinner. So we would be, my outlook on this is one time in September, probably the 3rd week of September, see how it goes. If it goes, then maybe we can make it the annual thing. But, this has been in my works since I came here, but we have been ready to do it. But I think after talking to Dave, one of the, reversing the direction, I know that's controversial, I'll get into that, but it's all gearing up towards that being part of it.
So you're saying there's gonna be no additional cost,
Manpower, probably,
other than supplying a few bodies?
no,
So the consortium
right,
is bearing the cost, other than what you just said.
correct. The company, they pay to do the houses, household acid waste. They bring in a dumpster, they bring in, 8 or 10 people to do all the handling of
Okay.
waste, set up, tear down, which is basically a support system for.
Got it. Okay.
You- Are we ready to make a decision, I guess?
Probably should unless we wanna invite Dave Jefferson. But he probably wouldn't say this.
My biggest concern was the additional cost, and I've just been assured that other than a few bodies, there's no additional cost, so I'm ready to move on it.
Then I'll make a motion that we sign the agreement. Is it just one signature?
Yeah.
So I make the motion that the chair sign.
I'll second that. Well,
All those in favor? Aye.
March 6th, we changed the direction of the flow of traffic. We had that discussion with you. We've had positive and negative responses to that. Actually, I had a gentleman come in and pretty much squared it off with me and told me that I was an idiot and I should be fired. So, thank you for your input, I appreciate that. But we've got 50-50 response, like I said. Some people don't like it, some people like it just fine. My position is, if you've never been there, you wouldn't know any different.
correct.
And secondly, the biggest complaint we have is we pack our car a certain way.
Mhm.
and we have to have a different. And I'm trying to, you know, convince people that it's not hard, you just put your trash in glass. But the biggest thing is cardboard. People want, you know, to put their trash on top of cardboard so that if the trash leaks, it goes on the cardboard, not the car. But the fact of the matter is, if we have nasty garbage smelling cardboard, we can't recycle it anyway. So that's an individual issue. As far as the gentleman that was in here a minute ago talking about not wanting to carry trash bags, we don't have an issue carrying trash bags from the building up to the compactor. We spent $800 last year on trash bags. And the compactor is 60 feet from the building. So that's one reason. The traffic flow was a second reason. Preparation for the hazardous waste day, like I said, was another reason. We're trying to get prepared down the road. Hopefully, if we ever get scales, the traffic flow needs to come in that way, go over the scale, come back, dump, and come back around to get weighed. So it's all making sense to prepare for this stuff. And last but not least, I want people to come directly in, stop at the swap shop, try and get rid of what they want at the swap shop. And what the swap shop doesn't take, they'll send up to us to get rid of, rather than us at the end of the day having 3 bucket loads of crap at the swap shop that we get rid of. I'm trying to track how much it costs the town to get rid of crap in the swap shop. That's all. So that's one of my other reasons. There's probably many more that I'm not alluding to, but it's kind of things.
And now all the metal's going into a container, it's not going into like locked out area. Are you gonna get rid of those Jersey barriers?
Well, we use that block area for can storage when we fill up a thing of plastic. We tuck it in there, it's out of the way, it's not in flow of traffic. And that way, if we don't have enough cans to go, it can stay there safely. Sometimes we'll have 2 in there, so that we can make a full load to go. That is, you know, a good spot for maybe down the road, some sort of cold storage building. I don't know. We have to look at that, but it's a perfect. The foundation's already there. If we put 2 of those clients boxes down there and trust them, we would have a cheap enclosed building. So that's, I haven't thought much about getting rid of those plots, because they kind of keep stuff neat, but we certainly can. Brush, this year, during budget time, we took away some of the brush money. Well, we might have to think about having a special meeting, try and put some money back into that, because after those storms, we have yards and yards and yards and yards of brush down there. And last time we had it shipped to us 6,000. We set aside 8,000. Oh, I'm sorry, I requested 10,000, but we knocked it down to 8. But I'm pretty sure it's going to go back up. Probably about 10,000 to ship that. Because we keep adding to it daily, and it's getting big.
Well, I thought we had some, guarantee, you're at 8,000.
Yeah.
You haven't spent any of it yet.
No, because with that big machine,
Right.
spends 8 or 9 hours and does everything. But it might take a little bit longer this year because the power's so good. And you might not be able to do it one day. I don't have any control of that. So I'm going to try and do my best to keep that number at what we have. But if we don't get a quote for that, I'll come back and tell you.
Well, you usually hang it up over that thing. She drapes it over the wire. revenue for brush? You're collecting, you're collecting revenue for brush. You're collecting enough?
Well, not $8,000 worth, I'm not happy now.
Well, it's not, even if he does collect revenue, that's not going to him. He doesn't have a separate account, so that.
No, but bottom line, it,
That money has to go into the general fund.
yeah, but still, it'd be nice to have offset.
Right, well, we definitely, I'll say, that we've, last month, we took, like, a little over $960 brush. This month, it'll probably be around the same, because we've had so much. But normally it's, a couple hundred, 300 a month, and, that's not gonna equal 8,000. But we can't go up too much, we're gonna start finding it in the ditch. I don't want to pull the fire alarm, but you just have to go to transforming hill, and just inside the transforming hill, there's a big hole, and just since the storm, you can see people been dumping in there. So, I don't want to create a problem that we don't have. If people complain about $40 a year, if you drive to Osprey to Green Acres, wherever that bit, $25. And I tell people, if you don't want to pay here, go pay 25, but you're gonna drive 45 minutes. It's 6 or 8 dozen together, but personally, I think we should even take it.
Budget season happens every year, and I remember I've been guarantees of none of these big storms ever coming here this year, so.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they did. But keep track of the cost, but also keep track of the revenue.
Right.
Because maybe we have to have a more fulsome discussion with our friends next year.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of avenues for people to dispose of brush, which don't include bringing it to the transfer station.
Bear in mind.
But we did have speed bumps at the transfer station for people coming in the road. The new way, we put a couple speed bumps before the swap shop, or the point out by the snow plow. So we'll have to install those. We have good training wise, between you guys are pretty well trained up. I'm feeling pretty confident with them. Several guys have been training. I went to college for 2 years last 2 weeks ago. There is that training. Rick has had training. That's just a small portion of the training that we'll be doing between now and the summer. Because when the summer hits, we won't be able to take the time to.
And we have an Island Day set?
We do, I don't have any help with me, but it should be that first weekend in July. It was the 9th. So, I think I put the 12th of July on the list.
Friday the 12th?
Friday the
Yeah,
12th.
I think so, yeah, Friday the 12th. I'll double check that and get back to you. Income that we were talking about, I did the
Oh, I
cost.
saw that.
Yeah.
I did the cost in different CE, currently, but okay. They don't have many people doing that. Things could start a little bit wonky, but I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, did a lot better.
A lot better than what we have been in the past. It gave you a comparison of the past 4 years for all of our income. as long as the income keeps trending up, we should be all right.
Yeah.
It's been averaging about 19%. So,
Yeah. I guess it's year to year.
correct, yeah, growth, yeah.
Going up in April.
So far this year, we've shipped out 29 cans of household waste for 240 tons. We've shipped out 30 CD cans for 129 tons. Plastic, 6 cans for 5.25 tons. One glass at a little over 11, and we've sent out 6 metal cans at 20.5 tons. So, this is, just April, we're now May. So I expect these numbers to rapidly go up next, this month and June. And when we get the folks here, it will go way up. My electronics box and my tire box are probably, and it's not far to swap them out. We got about 43,000 pounds of cardboard on the ground. I say on the ground, it's in my containers, but we got it ready to ship when we got loaded. We got about 4,500 pounds of aluminum, about 2,000 pounds of lead acid batteries, and then other stuff, motors, wires, stuff that we don't have weighed up yet, but that stuff is on the ground waiting to go for our next shipment. So that'll be, I probably won't ship anything out until June, so that'll be another revenue sheet. But I'm also shopping for the bills prices. Since COVID, prices for recyclables has gone basically in the toilet, and I should be seeing the trend back up, and people are holding out on not paying. So I'm trying to shop around a little bit and find where we can squeak out every penny.
I do have storage, so.
Yes. That's it, month, you've got a sheet that shows the March weights, individual weights. As far as the void costs for March, we were about 1,300 we saved on transportation of household waste because we pulled out cans, we pulled out glass, we pulled out plastic. So, we saved the taxpayers about 1,300 by recycling that stuff and taking it out of the waste stream. We can't do it all, but we can certainly, whatever the people are willing to recycle will apply themselves. I got a call today from Canberra, recycling the things that they are in the process right now of doing a public study on the new facility up there. So they wanted all kinds of information. They're going to pick down to the door to our facility. Use some of our pluses and minuses to give their search committee for the new facility.
Yeah, they were trying to cut a deal with Tamworth Recycling or whatever they were.
Yeah.
Did they cut that deal or?
No, they have private search committee now with taxpayers, and they're going ground zero up. Also, there's an announcement about compactors.
So we got these quotes from the fence company?
Correct, that was
I don't remember talking expenses. But
yeah, that was a follow-up on what I had talked about back during budget time and then again beginning of the year, about fencing in the old
there two or three? Because I've got two that appear the same.
Same.
There's two, or they both, well, Chip's got two here that are different.
I got
One that's,
three,
what do you do?
two that are the same.
Yeah, so that one's, one
So
of
you
the,
got 180 feet of, is this 180 feet of split rail in addition to the
Correct.
black chain link?
right, that right there, that split rail is a split rail for, you know, site appeal.
Okay,
And then wire mesh behind it, clear wire mesh behind it, which would, that is over by compactors along that bank that runs this way around to keep all that crap from blowing out in the woods and making a mess.
so $1,780, 1,780 feet
That other quote that you have
is for 1,600 feet.
was broken down for several different
Right,
styles.
it's not 140,000.
No. It's about
It's
57. It's about 57,000. If you add the 5-foot black chain link in, which I think is plenty, and then the boxes, 1,600 that go around the wells,
Test wells.
house wells,
Yeah.
it adds
So
up
does
to
that have
about,
to be 10 by 10? I mean, that seems, I didn't know that's.
I think it's 10 inches. But 10 inches.
Oh, okay.
But it's about, is
Yeah,
that about 57 about to the entire perimeter of the landfill,
Right,
put in 2 big path gates
right.
so that we can get more equipment in, plus it will give us 2, I believe, you know, human path gates, one in the front, one in the back. And this is my follow-up on what I had said before about just trying to get things good so that we don't end up getting damage up there.
Okay. Well, I know that if you read the solar proposals, 2 of them had fencing.
Yeah,
That's correct.
and another one didn't include it.
Yeah.
They talked about it, but they eliminated it. It would have been an extra cost.
Well, I talked to one of the engineers came up here today, and I had them, 5 minutes, showing, telling him, and, the first company that came up there, Envision, you know, with their
Revision.
they wanna put those, panels right at the edge of the bottom line, where our containers are.
That's not etched in stone.
I'm just saying, this is a discussion I had with them. I said, well, that's all well and good, it's inconvenient. We push a lot of snow there, we would have to move these boxes, it's not the best. My suggestion is, and my
As
suggestion,
bad as the traffic people. Go ahead.
my suggestion to the people who came today was that little mound that's at the bottom of that hill, erase it. We maintain in front of it and we maintain behind it. It's a little over an acre in size. I walked the guy today around and I said, this mound just needs to be moved. And there's a whole array and it's flat and you can fence it and it's secure. It's in the open, everything's still facing south. That would be my suggestion, and we would just need somebody to get in there, I don't know if Jim could send his excavator down there and stuff that little mound of crap out of there.
Yeah, but is it a mound for a reason?
No, it's just, when they cleared in the area for the parking lot and cleared, they just pushed everything down there, those rocks, stone wall rocks, and just junk, you know, just needs to be,
I guess, I mean, 2 things crop up. One, does that complicate our permit
No,
with DES?
I do not believe that we're gonna have any issue with permitting, we have to clearly permit,
Right.
but, cause we have a change of use. And, but other than, you know, the change of use permit,
Yeah.
I don't see anything that will hold us back.
Well, it's up to them, not up to us.
Right.
We have to- So we'll go through the process, and then we haven't cited any of it. We just got proposals.
Can you talk a minute about motor oil? There's been some, little bit of flurry
Yep,
out there about motor oil.
so motor oil, we're still having a terrible time with motor oil. I had the motor oil guy come up to pump it, and he's like, oh, no, there's, you know, it's not full. No, pump it. I'm like, what do you mean? You're here, you drove up here from Massachusetts to pump my tank, whether it's got 10 gallons or 300, pump it. No, so I didn't get pumped. Fact of the matter is, I've been telling people, get to Walmart, to get to those places that burn it. You know, it doesn't have to be here. If you drive down Rochester, stop in Walmart takes for free. O'Reilly's over in Osprey takes up to 3 gallons a day per day.
Whether you've bought oil there or not.
As far as I know. Yeah, no, as far as I know, nobody's asking for receipts. So, but I know for a fact that Walmart has a sign in the waiting room that says that we just have waste oil or something along that line. It's not that we don't necessarily want to take it. It's, you know, it's, right now it's not really an option to take it until we get it straightened out. And then once we do that, if we decide that we want to go full board into it again, that's fine.
So what have you been telling people? You've been telling people no, that you're not taking it?
So we've been telling people, take it to Walmart.
So you haven't been taking oil?
No, since last time we talked. And it hasn't become an issue. You know, we've got a couple guy cars bring up their 5 gallon pails for the skaters, but other than that, we've got to have a lot of people that have an issue.
So if they-
trended less and less and less.
So if they don't, if the company won't pump it until the tank's full,
Well,
you gotta fill the tank.
yeah. So we have a little bit of down there sitting on the ground, but we can top it off and have them pump it.
Well, you should talk, my opinion is, if they won't pump it until it's full, you gotta top it off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 'cause we can't move the tank.
Right. Otherwise, it's just gonna sit there. Nobody's gonna pump it. My humble opinion.
No, I agree with your opinion. So we, you know, we'll have to revisit that topic once it gets filled up. What I don't want to do is, we've gotten people pretty used to not dropping off oil. If we, start taking it again on a regular basis, fill the tank, then we have to re-educate everybody all over again. So if we can think of some creative ways to top it off.
Well, do we do our own sourcing on our equipment?
We don't, haven't,
Well, I gotta ask the question, you may have already said that, if it's not full, why are you not letting people take,
there was a driver that said he was on it. It was not full. Well, we haven't made it because we talked about it.
Getting out of the oil business.
And I just have been trying to ease it out. But clearly now we have to.
How many gallons short are you from full?
From 25.
Yeah.
So oil.
So,
And the problem is-
25 gallons
yeah.
to top it off?
Yeah, and that oil is completely, you know, every bit of oil that we take, and we've had this discussion, we don't have any guarantee it's clean waste oil.
that's,
I mean,
yes.
clean in the fact that it's oil. As soon as, you know, somebody that was a leak in a gasket, there's antifreeze in there,
Mhm.
or somebody that mixed, there might have a little gasoline, it's all contaminated.
But you've got a tap on the bottom where you can take the antifreeze and any water that's settled to the bottom. Gas is just gonna mix in. Transmission fluid is gonna mix in.
But it's contaminated, so it's not considered recyclable anymore, it's considered waste oil.
Jim, what do we do with the oil for the town truck?
It goes to Wayne San Marino.
They burn it?
Oh, that's good, good to know.
Yeah, I think they have like a settling tank. It goes through a couple series of tanks to make it fertile. But yeah, they take all the tank, all the water we give them.
Which was something that we thought about, but then we have to revert back to the whole liability question once we have a limit. So, there's a conundrum.
I know. I don't like the idea of not taking waste oil. I think we're in the business of, this is a transfer station. We're in the business of taking people's waste products. That's my opinion. Even if we have to charge whatever we charge to cover the costs of disposal.
$1 quarter for what's
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, right. Exactly. I think.
So I think I would start by talking to whoever is the recycler, explain to them what happened, and find out, you know, we have to. You put it back on the office there. I mean, because if you're 25 gallons short on a tank that big, that's ludicrous.
You can make that up on a weekend. Easily.
Oh, yeah, we don't have that much. It took 15 months to get
That much oil. Yeah.
I know. How many gallons does a town truck take?
If you need waste oil, I can share some.
I'm sure we can top it off for you so we can get it pumped out.
Yeah. I would say let's.
I think we need to be in the business. Otherwise, we risk people dumping it in their driveway, out in the woods, whatever. We have to give them an opportunity to get rid of it. That's my opinion.
If anything, maybe we should be advertising more so that
It
that
shouldn't cost
doesn't take that long.
the people who don't change their oil in their driveway any money. So the other issue that hasn't come up here in this conversation is the rate of getting rid of it. Went through the roof last year.
So I don't have a price for this time, it's getting a pump, but all the information I have leading up to that was around $1,500.
So how much is that a gallon?
How big of a tank is it?
330,
It's $5 a
$5
gallon.
a gallon.
Yeah.
So that's what we gotta charge.
Which is,
Yeah.
I think, what we're
I
charging.
think that's what he is. Yeah, you can't charge $1 a quart, $5 a gallon. You could do. Yeah.
So, that's baseline, goes up. After revisit that, yes.
Well, it's no different than the CMD. I mean,
Right.
the people who aren't tearing their houses down shouldn't have to pay for the people who are tearing their houses down. It's not a common occurrence.
No, but if he's charging $5 a gallon to accept it, that about covers the cost of getting it pumped.
Right. And if people don't like the $5, there are, as you said, there are
There are
avenues
options.
to them. I know I've done that. I give it to Ed.
Right.
So.
Yeah, try to promote.
So what do we do with regard to? Do we go back to taking it, let the tank get full?
I
And
voiced my opinion,
Pump it, that's fine.
I think we've got an offer from the road agent that he'll get 25 gallons worth of.
so we can top it off, get it pumped out, and start fresh.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I don't think we need a motion,
No, well, it's up to you, but I think you could kind of information.
but I think you got the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is
That's all signed.
Yep.
Anything else for us?
yeah, yes. where's the signatures? That's the permit. So we just received the same check.
And you've been through this?
Yeah.
It's complete?
Yeah.
One
I feel
sig,
like I can scan them in tomorrow and send them to
it's, one signature. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the chair signs the permit.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that is the actual landfill closure permit that the state needs to fulfill their requirements. Everything we went to do was handled for 3 or 4 pages. It's very good, 160 some odd emails.
Somebody's tummy's grumbling.
What's this one? Is that part of it?
Those are some confirmation emails that he's read.
This is separate, right?
Well, it's
Or
part
was
of
that in it?
It's part of
Didn't
that
fall out?
package. Just email us that he received the previous one that was handed. Just wanted them, but you get a copy of that. Anything else?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Good evening.
Bye, Chris.
All right. Next, Highway Department. 20 minutes behind. Sorry about that.
That's no worries. I was running late myself, so I did okay. Since last time we met on April 1st, we had a large heavy snowstorm that came through starting on the night of April 3rd and didn't stop until April 5th. Along with the heavy wet snow came strong winds causing trees to come down on every road in town. Some of the trees landing on power lines and closing off roads. We spent 3 weeks cleaning up the debris after that storm. There was a lot of extra work that we weren't expecting to do. After the debris was cleaned up, we had a street sweeping crew come in and split the sand off the roads and the parking lots in town. Road grading on the dirt roads has started and several roads have been completed. And potholes on paved roads also been an ongoing project that we're working on.
What'd you ever end up doing with the all the tree debris? Where does that go?
Added it to Chris's pile.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, just went back to behind the town garage, big pile back there.
Oh, your own pile. You have your own pile behind the
Oh,
town
yeah,
garage.
yep.
You
Oh,
didn't add
okay. It's not.
You
in
didn't
the-
add it to Chris's pile.
It's not.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
Okay. Okay.
What do you do with it back there? Just leave it? Or do you burn it?
A little both, whatever happens, yep. Yeah, we have a chipper, sometimes we'll chip it, but for the most part, it settles down over no time at all, really.
Yeah.
So did this storm come under your spring maintenance budget?
I put it under spring maintenance because I didn't know what else to put it under. But I did break it out under my bill as storm damage.
So your spring maintenance line is now almost $78,000 in the red, 272%.
Yep,
That pretty much kills the
That's 75.
that $75,000.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we're not gonna allocate that. I don't think.
No, we're not going to allocate it. We're going to wait till the end of the year to see how the budget works itself out. But
Right, but we already know.
But we already know that you're $78,000 in the red, just for spring maintenance. because we had another one of those big unexpected storms.
Yeah, two of them.
Oh,
Yes, we were told that wasn't gonna happen again.
Okay,
So can you get, was there no, state or federal grant money going on in those storms? FEMA,
We're not aware of it
Yeah.
yet, they have not let us know that that's gonna happen.
so, while it's fresh in your mind, it's only a month ago. Let's make a concerted effort to figure out the cost of it. It's not just enveloped in the
I
gross
actually,
cost of the
if you
department.
notice on my bills weekly, I rate storm damage right on it, so it's
Okay,
easy to get back to.
okay.
cause I don't wanna, I know the argument's gonna proceed next October, and I don't wanna lose the fight this time,
Okay.
okay?
Excuse me. I had someone from the budget committee come forward and who analyzed a few of the bills, and we've created a spreadsheet so we can sort them by spring work, storm damage, with all the rates, so hopefully,
That will make
Yeah,
it a
it'll
little
help you a
easier,
lot.
I
Is
guess.
this a spreadsheet that you guys are gonna fill in the office here, or is this something that Jim has to fill out?
well, I thought I would bring it up to date and then see if, his office staff is able to do it. So,
Okay.
It's just,
but it's not a huge effort once we get it populated.
okay.
Yeah.
You'd be willing to do that?
Great,
You'd be willing to fill that in?
absolutely.
Good,
Yep.
good, thank you.
And what was the other thing,
Yeah, did any of the storm damage come under tree removal?
No.
No.
I didn't.
Oh,
That's separate.
Yeah.
speaking of tree removal, I'm gonna be getting to it later. There's some trees of concern at the schoolyard.
More?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Because we spent quite a bit already last year
I know.
removing trees.
Apparently there's more, and I don't
We
wanna
took
dig through
another
this
tree
pile
down.
just yet until I get through it.
After that storm, we took another, well, it was down, we cleaned it up, cut it up.
You familiar with that?
I am, and it's, more of the debris hanging over, they can't mow because there's limbs in the way at the school and at Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if it requires someone to go into the chipper, or,
Would you take a look at that?
Yeah, I'll take a look. I mean, hopefully it's something simple we can clean up quickly.
Thank you,
If they're just limbs hanging into the area where they mow.
thank you. I don't have any more questions as far as monthly report is concerned. Chip, you all set?
Yeah, I think so. Are we getting our paving together here? Jen?
I talked to one company so far, but we still need to put it out to bid, but the company that did it last year just called me today, actually, asking. I said, it's going out to bid this year, so be expecting a call.
How many, do you have any expectation for how many bids you'll get?
Hoping,
No, first
I'm
time.
hoping 3.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we got 2 last year, the third one didn't show up like we were supposed to, but
Mhm.
if we put it on NHMA, we should get,
Yeah. Cool.
We should still be thinking about separating our big roads from the little roads. Maybe some of these smaller paving companies would bid on us. Neighborhood road, I don't know. What do you, what's your thought on that?
it's possible. I don't know if they can compete in the
Yeah.
prices, just because the companies that are doing this big paving have their own plant,
Okay.
and they, make their own mix.
And some of them have their own grinders too.
Yeah.
Some of the smaller companies don't have the,
Correct.
The
don't have the
grinding-
big
They don't have
grinding
the grinding,
machines.
So that would have to be subbed out to a bigger company or
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
But it's
Okay.
something we could ask, and you get a price on.
well, it's just
I don't think
something,
it would be competitive. but-
yeah, something to think. If you think it would be competitive, by all means.
And why are we still looking at this thing in 19 Mile Bay, in 19 Mile, Union Wharf Road, I'm sorry.
I believe that,
That's next.
I believe those folks are here.
Yeah, we'll be
I
dealing with
wanna,
that
I wanna
shortly.
clean up the monthly report conversation first, before we move into that.
All right.
So, are we all set with your monthly report?
Yeah, I think I'm all set.
Okay.
Yep.
That being said, Melissa Chappett, I believe that must be you.
Good evening, how are you?
How do you
Good
pronounce
evening.
your last name?
Shaput.
Shaput.
And
Sorry.
I've also got Jason, my business partner here.
Very
Jason
good.
Menard.
Very good. Okay.
Do you want us to sit over here?
Yeah, come on
up.
Yeah, we're okay.
Come on up. And we've all read your letter. I think I understand what's going on.
Which property are we talking about first?
Union Wharf Road.
Dive
Okay.
into Union Wharf first?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
There's
unfortunately,
two
we have
issues.
2 issues to talk about. I'm hoping we can all leave here with a good sense of direction and be good neighbors going forward, is my goal. So at 61 Union Wharf Road, you guys saw my letter. My neighbor filled in a culvert. He said he had town permission. I don't believe that he did, because there was no record of it. What I know is that he flooded my basement for a period of a month. It got up over a foot at one point. And I was trying to reach you, sir.
I don't have any message. from you.
Yeah, well, your phone rings and rings and rings, and it doesn't really matter what time of the day or night you call,
What number are
or
you calling?
the number on the town website.
Oh,
What I find interesting, though,
That
is
phone's
that
not working.
my neighbor texted me on a Sunday when I told him that if he didn't do something, I was going to have to take legal action, and somehow he reached several people in the town. I don't know how that's possible, because I was calling at the same time, and nobody returned my call, and I couldn't reach any humans, but
did you call
he
the town
reached,
office?
he reached somebody,
The
he
town
named
office-
you, he named you, he must have your
Town-
cell phone number or
The
something.
town office called me. and I
Okay.
called him.
I don't know if he came in or whatever. And what happened is, I didn't ever get a return call, but what happened is a town backhoe showed up and they installed a dry well. I will say my basement's dry and I'm grateful for that. But my concern is this dry well requires annual maintenance. I didn't cause the ditch to get filled in. It should have never been filled in. One of my drainage pipes was pulled out in the process. It's a small piece, so maybe it's not an issue, maybe it is. But this is part of my perimeter drain that was pulled out by this town backhoe
Well, it's
that showed
actually
up.
Not the town, it's mine.
Is it yours? Okay, fair enough. I'm grateful that the dry well's there because my basement's dry now. I'm mostly just concerned with who's responsible for this annual maintenance now. And then leading into the other discussion, I want to be good neighbors, but I find it a little appalling that I'm trying to reach the town since last July regarding my other property. And then after this happened, for several weeks, I never got a return call, but my neighbor magically on a Sunday night lines up the town to come up with a backhoe.
It wasn't a Sunday night.
You guys came on Monday morning.
I have all the dates and everything.
Yeah, and I have all his texts, and he definitely said he spoke to you and that you came and that you did
I came
it.
over because he called the town office, so I came to see what the problem was. I saw that you had multiple people at your house,
Mhm.
and he said that they ran a tape or whatever, some kind of
With section.
tracker.
It was
damage,
JB and
then
Sons.
it
Yeah, they
was-
had run a
and
camera
he said,
down
well,
to
we
the
think
end.
that the pipe is in this area here.
Mhm.
And I actually told him, if you remember, I said, I really don't have time. I mean, you're gonna have to hire somebody to do that. And he's like, yeah, we're really in bind. And I'm like, well, I wanted to help both of you guys out. So I said, all right, I'll get my guy to come over. We dug it up and water started coming out. And we just-
Oh, it was a geyser. Yeah, it came right out of my basement.
So, trying to help everybody out in this, we didn't really have time for it.
No, I appreciate that part of it. I think I'm just.
I'm gonna chime in here. So the origination of the problem is that proper decorum of excavation in the right of way and how you do that and how you give that to abutters or whoever did that was skipped. No letter of notice. You're required by law to do that through the RSA's. No 30-day notice. We did that to you. But to have another abutter or a landowner go into the right of way and improve the drainage of what they did, they hired it out and fill it in improperly without proper knowledge or skills is a big deal as this developed into. And the problem with that is what this turned into is we're trying to be neighborly, but it's clear in this process that somebody knew who to call or just did it anyway without the town knowing or not initially, and caused the drainage problem, and then the town now has to correct the problem when it wasn't theirs in the first place. And that, you know, that affects taxpayers, and it's not fair to collectively as a town, it's not fair. But nobody should be going in the right of way unless it's monitored and observed. And I looked at it within 5 minutes and I knew what the problem was, not even standing on the property, because I said the perimeter drain's clogged. He filled in the right of way, he elevated the drainage, he probably clogged the existing clogged culvert that used to go through the driveway on our property. And again, we'll fix that if we had to. But the problem is that he either did it willingly without permission, or he was granted permission, and that's a big no-no. You just can't do it. I mean, you can, but it has to be through letters, permits to the town, and people have to inspect it and whatever. And for us and somebody that does this for a living, it's a little infuriating that the process gets skipped, and we're just trying
What
to.
precipitated this issue? I don't understand.
So,
A clogged drain.
Yeah,
But
my basement was
ultimately-
flooded, it was
It was.
flooded, yeah,
She had,
considerably, yeah.
it sounds like there's two issues here. One is a civil issue between you and your neighbor, whoever filled
Right.
in the drainage.
Yep.
but it wasn't known that there was drainage, that's the thing. It wasn't
That's what
maintained,
they
it wasn't
claim.
open. It
But-
wasn't open. I
but
looked
the
in
second
ditch,
issue-
there was no pipes
The
whatsoever.
second issue is the town. I'm not saying you. The town went in and fixed the secondary problem by putting in this dry well.
So it drags the town into,
So it dragged the town into
and that's my
this
concern.
issue.
That's our
Yeah, I
concern.
just wanna know who's in
that's
charge
what
now,
it sounds like.
yeah.
So what we believe and what we believe,
Is that?
what we believe in through the RSA's and how the law is
It's
written,
half and half.
the homeowner or butter did not have permission from the town.
Let's have one conversation at a time, please.
What's that?
Guys,
Maybe more for a-
one conversation at a time, please.
So what, I mean, again, I do this for a living, so our original concern is that someone went into the right of way without knowledge of the town, but they said they did. They filled it in, they caused a drainage issue, and that dragged the town into a civil issue, and now the town's hooked into that.
Mhm.
And our original concern was put the ditch back to the way it was, the shoulder and the ditch back to the way it was, so the perimeter drain that was existing, that was draining since we've owned the property, into the right of way, and let it be the way it is. But that was mitigated improperly, and somebody went in there and just did it through, they claimed permission from the town, which, again, we didn't get served a notice, the 30-day notice that work was gonna be done, and the town didn't notice, so we believe that permission was not granted through due process, and the town's not liable, and we just feel that that's not the way to do it. It should just go back to the way it was, and you guys have maintenance now, you guys have to do, and then we just feel it's not proper.
No,
No, so there's two existing driveways, and Tom did call and asked if he could smooth that out and loam it and seed it, kinda like you have in front of your house. So I did go down and look, there is no driveway culverts on either driveway, her driveway or his driveway.
but there is a pipe, because we know there's a pipe because it was covered and it flooded my basement, and this used to be a normal drain, right?
But that's not a culvert, that was just a perimeter drain that
Right.
was buried and not visible, so nobody.
Yeah,
knew about it.
and those require maintenance. Homeowners have to keep up with their perimeter
Yeah.
drains.
And
if you
that
didn't-
was not.
Correct.
That one wasn't
And
kept up.
correct. Unfortunately, until the process of filling in the right of way, there was maintenance free
Yeah.
because it drained. The perimeter drain daylighted and drained, and we didn't have to do anything because it was working properly until somebody filled in the right of way.
So who filled in the right of way?
The whole butter,
A butter that's
the
behind us.
butter.
But
Did you hire somebody? Or did
Are you asking me a question?
I am asking you a question.
Did I hire somebody?
Yeah.
First off, I came to your code enforcement, which turns out he doesn't, I guess he doesn't have, but he gave me, I told him, I was talking about riprap. Nothing about filling in like in front of 61, where it looks like there's just was filled in, there's nothing, no pipe or anything.
We didn't do that though.
Right, that was happened, she bought in 2020, so that was done long before that. So I contacted, and I contacted, I finally got a hold of, Jim, and that's what I wanna do, I was put riprap in as a drainage. Now, the problem with the contractor I have, he did not complete the thing in the entirety per contract to fill in the whole thing. If he had dug like he's supposed to, we would have found that drainage pipe. That pipe was down 3 feet in the ground, it was about a foot buried, you couldn't be seeing, like you said, I'm not sure what the terminology, is it Jason?
Yes.
Yeah, the terminology you just said about how it finally, the static pressure from the water finally pushes it through. Because that's what would happen, you wouldn't see any water, and all of a sudden, boom, that little, that area in front of the wall in front of my place would fill with about a foot or so of water. And which last year would be in on record, since 1895, we had 21 inches June, July, and August. 43 inches recorded off of Mount Washington, this place on record. That just drove that thing, it was sucking, it was, over the years, that wall, I've been here, it's been sucking that wall out. Literally, I'm watching the little bead rocks, the little potato rocks that they build the big ones on, come down, it's starting to come down, which is gonna take the whole, the trees and everything else are gonna come down sooner or later. So I was being proactive on it. I had no idea the pipe was there, and I tried constantly to reached out many times to different people that were showing up on the property, because I never met Melissa before. So I called, and then finally, I believe it was August, I got a call back, and I have a thing there, she says, as long as it doesn't impact me. Totally.
That's
I
not
was
true. I
happy.
said you didn't give me enough time to give you an answer, and that if you were gonna do
No,
work on
I
your
got- I
own
got-
property.
Time out,
you didn't
time
have
out,
to be-
time out,
Right.
time out. We're not gonna do a back and
I
forth.
never gave you permission, and you never sent
Yeah,
written
the text
notice,
is
and
right
that's
here.
what
Excuse
people
me.
in the
The text is
RSA.
We're not gonna do a back and forth,
Right.
so,
It's not
please.
court.
So, again, the concern is for the town. The town now has some type of responsibility in a civil matter, and we just feel that's wrong. It just shouldn't be that way. That's one. Now we're there, but just to be clear, is that when, and anybody that knows in water and pressure, if you were to plug a pipe that's 1% gravity fed, and it wraps around a perimeter of a house, and it has no egress,
Path of least resistance.
sure, if it builds up and builds up because it's been plugged, and prior to that it wasn't plugged, it's roughly what I figured is about 169 pounds per square inch in a 4-inch pipe. Just figuring, because the water table came up that 2 weeks, and just calculating it, I mean, it is going to do exactly what he said. If it was plugged and it was backed up and it was filling up a basement with a foot of water, and you dig a hole and you relieve the pressure. But the point is, when you open up the end of it the way it was, the water will come up and out, the egress. So again, proving the fact that the pipe was functioning the way it was, with the right of way the way it was prior to the existing work being done. And that is, again, I do it for a living, and I just again, it's dragged the town into a civil matter.
I think, just from what I've been hearing, I think the simplest way to cure this is, I think the simplest way to cure it is to have the road agent or somebody return it to its original state.
It was not maintained before, we've never dug that out.
No, but we're involved now.
16 years that I've been here, it's never been dug.
But we're into it now. Is to have somebody.
It doesn't drain anywhere either. It's stuck between two pieces
So-
of driveway.
Let me finish.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Return it to its original state, and whatever that costs, the town absorb half of the cost, and the neighbor absorb half of the cost.
Do you want me to respond to any of this?
Hold on.
Can I speak?
Yes.
As far as he is concerned, I see lots of people in my line of work where they want to beautify the front of the curb, even though they don't own the right of way. It's his responsibility, and it's the town's legitimately the town's property. People want to beautify it, and what he accomplished is, it's less of a hole, a ditch for a vehicle to roll over. Totally understand that. It's how, if I was going to redo a road, that's what I would do. And this is an unfortunate thing that has to happen. I think a drywall is quote my French, but it's a shitload of maintenance for the town. But like Melissa said, it is working. It is working, and we're trying to do the right thing here. We just need some direction by the town on what you want to do. I don't want to see a neighbor get screwed out of something where, you know, he's trying to make his property beautiful and improve the side of the road, but at the same time, we don't want to be on the hook for if the town gets backed up too busy, because obviously you guys are busy, and that drywall gets clogged, the basement fills up, then you're going to be buying a boiler. That's our concern. We don't want the town to be responsible for that. So we're just trying to find the right way to where everybody collectively can be neighbors.
No, we have no interest, and I think I can speak for the town, is we have no interest in getting into a maintenance agreement with a dry well. Period. We have no interest. I see the remedy as returning it to its original state. And then where you go from there is up to you guys to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, I have the before pictures I can show, you know, so whatever's best. I mean, I don't know if maintaining the dry well is less expensive than digging it up, but I just don't want my basement to flood, and I just want to know who's maintaining it.
Is there any reason to think that returning it to its original state could be a problem in the future?
Well, it didn't flood for many, many years, did it?
Right?
No, yeah, I bought it in 2020, and that drain always worked, and we had heavy rainfall from 2020 to, you know, when it happened, so.
There's no reason that it would not work as a dry well. Just
Yeah, but who's gonna maintain it?
what's the maintenance on it?
I don't know.
It's a pipe that goes into a dry
I don't
well
know.
that is,
What if the
you can look
dry,
at the top and see in.
what if the dry well plugs up?
Well, that's the question, is if
Is
it
it
plugs
gonna
up.
fill with sand? Is it gonna fill with organic debris,
It's surrounded with
leaves?
stone.
I think I have a picture of
And
it.
again, we're just trying to be absolutely clear. We're not trying to screw anyone here. We just, again, the town got dragged into a civil matter, and we're just trying to find the right course of action so that the town's happy, he's happy, we're happy, and the problem's just resolved. We can all just kind of move forward.
If
you
you
wanted
wanted to make things very clear that I did not do this in order to beautify anything, I did it to say, when I approached the town,
Well,
when I approached the
you
town,
did.
it was about the rock, that wall, I was kept picking boulders up until they were getting so big, I couldn't pick them up anymore, and rebuild that wall. And I said about the beautification, I read all the RSA's about the beautification, keeping the walls in New Hampshire, because I wanted to do something structurally in there that would support. So all that soil doesn't just erode down, and those pines and all those trees don't fall. I didn't care less about the beautification there. The ditch was there, I mowed it, I did it every time, but it was undermining it since I've been there, and I've been there since 15.
It's only about a foot more material from the existing ditch. It's not like 3 or 4 feet.
This is what it looks like, if anybody wants to know what the dry well looks like.
The driveway was installed. So again, can see his he's concerned about the beautification of the frontage. Again, not that this is applicable, but this is what I do for a living, and these are the projects I'm involved in. We completely understand, you know, his point. It's just people take pride in their property. It's just a.
So the dry well is completely on town property or
No,
not?
no, it's on 50/50, half their property.
Half your property, half the town property.
It's 12 feet off the pavement.
Okay.
It's a big thing. It like filled the back of a dump truck.
Well, it's 6 by 4 feet deep with,
Is it a 4-footer?
6 by 4 deep.
4 feet.
Yeah, I measured it. So.
Did I understand that
6 feet deep.
you're not opposed to keeping the dry well?
We just want to know that we don't have to maintain it,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we don't want to take on any maintenance we didn't have before, and I just.
So you had maintenance
Yeah.
before?
Well, you did have
Well,
maintenance
no, but I had
before.
different, it
Okay.
worked without
Let me,
maintenance.
Melissa says no. The maintenance is, and the difference is going out to there and looking at the daylighted pipe, making sure it's clear, flushing it, making sure it's got, to clean the debris off. That was the maintenance now. Homeowners can handle that. Anybody. The maintenance now is a vac truck.
What's
I-
going in it?
Well, I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that,
Nothing going in it.
I'm just saying that a dry well, let's say it was a catch basin.
Well, it's a lot different than a catch basin.
I understand that, but my point is that dry wells, if they get silt in them, they stop functioning, whereas a catch basin doesn't. So what I'm saying is, for a town, or for somebody to maintain, we went from homeowner to probably something a little more that a homeowner, an average homeowner doesn't experience, probably couldn't maintain.
So is it filled with riprap? Just the outside?
The outside. The inside's just concrete.
So stone and
There's no-
fabric
no
wrapped.
riprap anyway, this is a.
So it's
drainage
probably
channel.
2 inch stone, inch and a half stone.
Inch and a half.
So yeah, so it's fabric wrapped, stone wrapped, and then it percolates to the ground. And I don't know what the ground looks like in that area, but I assume assume it. So it's got to go somewhere.
It went somewhere originally.
Yeah.
So even if you just had a daylight pipe, it's going somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Under the road.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Wherever.
Sometimes it's just stopping in the,
It's not being contained. Again, it's the town's thing now. It's like it went from civil to town. So we're just,
Prior to all of this stuff, the undermining of the driveway at the bottom all had to do with that drainage of that pipe. Because the pressure, once that rained, when she said, we had, that's a record setter. Last year was record setter. We had a couple of years with some rain prior, from 15 when I owned on. Didn't see it every year, water in there occasionally. When the pressure got there, it would push it out. But that's what was undermining the driveway too, because there was nothing there. So it's undermining and washing away that whole area was like undermined. They would carve a little trench over to dump it into that trench in front of the wall in front of it. It's not my place. It's, now I didn't know it was state, town, whatever, until I came here and finally found out it was town property. That's a town road. Otherwise, that's, so, I've already put a tank in and filled it all in. I'm at $6,000 into this mess.
Well, what you did prevent the undermining of the trees and I don't understand this stuff, so I'm asking, yeah.
What I didn't know, but what the person before.
Yeah, no, what it did was
Walden,
it filled in
Jenny
up to the
Walden,
stone wall.
Warden.
So you didn't, on that stone wall, you'll see those, like potatoes sticking out, the little rocks. As soon as that washes out, those boulders come down. And you got a lot more problems on that road anyway. I can pinpoint it, because I walk the road, and I can see there's going to be some real problems with your stone walls coming down. Possible injury, possible car damage, I don't know. That particular wall wasn't there, that would just roll into that ditch. And
Can we add an overflow to that dry well?
Sure.
Say just one pipe level higher or something like that?
No, I think what you
For
could do
a
is just
daylight
make
drain?
sure that I don't think you'd have to daylight it, you'd have to.
Well, it was daylit before.
Well, I find that actually probably not realistic, but.
That house was built, what, 15 years ago?
1980s. No, 1980s.
Is that
was
the duplex?
beginning. No, it's the big
duplex is
brown.
05.
It's this big brown colonial with the green door. It's the brown one with the green door and the
Oh,
green
yeah.
shutters. That one.
And I dare to say, I've been in there twice,
Yeah,
with
that
the
was
previous
here when I
owner,
moved in.
and once with the present owner, and, there's been backup water.
It works, that's all I know is it's working. It should
Not
be
since I owned
anyways.
You only own it 3 years.
So the pipe that's, and I don't want this to go on more than another 2 minutes, but the pipe that's coming out the perimeter drain,
Mhm.
can you see that now, or is that?
Oh, yeah, you can open up the cap and look right down at it.
Out at the dry well?
Yep.
Okay, so you've got daylight for all time.
you've got contained. Be clear, you got contained daylight. It doesn't daylight out into the surface and gravity
Is there a
takes over.
cap on it? You
No,
can
I'm just
see the
saying
sun?
it's contained. It just goes into the dry well.
Spoken, Jim, if we open up a little more of that gap and get to that drainage rock beyond that box, so, we that might flow a lot better and blow out there, because that's what's happening, and it's still gonna blow back underneath your driveway, because that box just drains every which way, once that water builds up. So, that wasn't my choice
There's
thing,
no
but that's,
cross culvert in that area,
No, neither driveway have any culverts.
but let's cross it.
Oh, nothing crosses the road either.
There is one that's
So-
covered
so
over. That's not
On
a
his
highway.
property, there's a extreme high flow one that, or I'm not on your property, but close to his property, there's a big one. It's like a
Yeah,
36 or
yeah.
40. So
Yeah,
on
that's-
north of that,
yeah.
north of that, you have a 12-inch galvy that is completely filled with 17-year soot and silt. We found that one. That one, it mitigates the water that builds up on the other side of 61 and drains out the wetlands on that side. But that one's full, and it hasn't been maintained, and it's got 17-year roots in it, so it hasn't been maintained in a very long time.
I don't even know of that one.
I know
Maybe we
it's
should check it out.
but it's galvy, so it probably doesn't have a bottom to it. Which again, if you clear it, it's gonna blow it'll undermine the road, which is another
Last 3
problem.
weeks, the water's dropped almost 2 feet.
I can show you outside.
Yeah, but we haven't had any.
We did
Oh,
clear,
can't
for the
do
record,
that.
we did clear it as much as we could when we found it, because we're not jerks.
So
Then we did get you got a ton of water flowing out.
we
of
did
it.
get the water coming out of it, but again, that's
I was just wondering if,
Opposite side of the driveway?
so before we,
Opposite side of our driveway, yeah, if you take about, 40 steps down the road, it's opposite of our driveway on the right-hand side.
It's
And
12-inch Galvy with
he
a.
did get it to run at least the day when we found it.
David?
I was just wondering, it's just which one do you pursue, which is leaving what we have there now,
Mhm.
or returning it to what it was before? It seems like this is actually, to a certain degree, an improvement, other than the fact that the town now owns it.
How does the town own it?
Could we installed it without
The town
permission?
did not install that. I installed that on his dime, separate, as a separate contractor. The town did not do that. And I explained that to you, told you, and he wrote a check to you, he knows.
Okay, I didn't
Okay,
understand.
I
We
didn't
didn't know
I
any
didn't
of that
know
either.
I didn't know that
He
either.
paid me to do
So that absolves the town of liability.
Correct.
Fine, yeah. So that means he's liable, and yeah, that's
This
fine.
is a civil issue.
Yeah, okay.
I
so
wish
we
I
can
knew
do
that,
Yeah,
because I didn't.
I didn't
So
know any of
that
that.
we could have solved this a long time ago. All right, moving on.
Yep, sorry, we didn't know.
No,
I had
We
no
didn't know any
idea.
of that.
Yeah, no, we're,
So we'll just take this back as a civil issue, and you guys can start. Formal introduction is great. Moving on.
Okay, we're also your neighbor over at 301 Governor Wentworth Highway. And really, the purpose of discussing that here today is to try to, we just, again, want to have a clear understanding between the parties who's doing what. And I want to be a good neighbor. I'm a fan of the Chandler Trail. I have nothing against it, for the record. No idea that those signs said private property. They've already been taken
Jim
down.
doesn't need to be here, I think conservation comes in.
Yeah.
You all set?
Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Jim.
So the signs are all taken down, for the record. I had no idea that they said no trespassing or any of that nonsense. I just didn't want hunters to walk in with loaded guns next to my house, which is
Thank you,
not
Jen.
okay anyways. But I didn't realize they said no trespassing.
I
So
think
they-
that's as simple as if you think it needs to be posted, you write a letter of request to the town.
Yeah,
Selectmen, Conservation Commission, and then we handle it from there.
and I honestly have no problem with hunting. I just
We'll show you.
and really the situation was with somebody that was irresponsible in general. Like he shouldn't have been
always-
so close to the house anyways,
It's
like
always
in general.
one bad egg that ruins it for
Okay,
everybody.
so here's my culverts at 301.
No,
What-
not ours. Not ours.
Well, not my culverts. Here's the culverts at 301. I bought the property in 2021, and over the period of a couple of years, the driveway was literally caving in. These are some pictures of the driveway. So my understanding was
It's a driveway.
this is a driveway. Yes, this is a driveway that has a right of way that the town owns.
That's backwards.
You
The
own.
town owns the driveway, you
Correct.
have a right of way over it.
Okay, fair enough. The town
that's
owns the
bad.
driveway, and the town for the last, I mean, we estimate 17 plus years has not maintained these culverts, okay? And the issue with them not maintaining the culverts is that the driveway started to cave in. I had sinkholes. I did begin trying to contact the town in July of 2023. I spoke to the district for the state. They do keep a log of all their calls. They can show that I called them, and I can show on my phone bill that I was calling the town. Now, did I call conservation? No, I didn't know it was you. I was calling the town of Tuftonboro. That was who was on the GIS, okay? Never got a return call. Same situation, the phone rings and rings.
Slow down. This is town property with a private driveway on it?
That's correct.
Okay, so you have a right of way over the town property.
Deeded
Correct.
deeded right away.
A deed of right of
Are we
way.
separate?
I'll be more specific.
We can't spend money on private deeded right of ways.
I know, but that's your driveway,
So hold on a second.
the town's.
How's it
The
moving?
the Parkhurst conservation property in perpetuity claimed the land back in 1953. The original person before Parkhurst took it over had it listed as a right of way, and they separated that parcel as one piece. Then Parkhurst repositioned it in an easement and claimed that piece plus a total acreage to include what it is now. The problem is the definition of what it's called in the deeds as you go through, and it's messy, and we highly recommend you guys have somebody look into it. It's pretty messy. We have a lot of them. But as you go through, the terminology of driveway turns into right-of-way.
Correct.
And
What's the address on this, please?
301 Governor Wentworth Highway.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay,
So we,
that doesn't change anything.
no. So we didn't know that we didn't own it, just for clarity. So we were told by the town that if there was a culvert in in the driveway that we drive over, okay, that we were responsible. What happened is oil trucks would no longer come and an ambulance could no longer traverse the driveway. Whoever owns it, right? They couldn't get to my house anymore. I couldn't get oil, and I have a letter from the Wolfboro Oil showing that they would not deliver to me anymore. And that also means an ambulance couldn't traverse over the driveway because the driveway literally had sinkholes and was caving in, okay?
I put my pickup truck through it, like
It fell, like,
into the ground. So my pickup truck went through it, through the pavement, into the culvert, and
Was the
sunk.
former Chandler people.
So that's
now
the condition
owns-
of. Before.
I'm not hearing anybody, so I'd like one group to talk at a
Okay,
time.
all right, I'll take over from here.
Okay,
So-
Is this Tugwell Lane?
No.
Okay,
That their property in our right of way abuts Tugwell Lane. So that's right on the other side of their property. It's now owned by Winnipesaukee Development, which was the Chandler family that originally owned that.
okay.
So that's all that wet area. So if you go down 109 and you turn into their driveway, everything to the left-hand side on that is owned by Winnipesaukee Development, I believe. I forget what the proper name is, which is the former Chandler people that own that. And that's Tugwell Lane is a paper road that was been there for many, many years. So their property abuts that. On
So
the
do you-
left-hand side, our property abuts their on theirs, on the other three corners, other than this one right away.
So the Parker's conservation.
so
this-
basically,
this
this
is your
off of
house?
one, yeah, that's our house, and this is 109 right here.
Yep.
Here's the driveway in question.
Yep.
That we're talking about. And so
Okay.
it got to the point where it would flood every time it rained because the culverts weren't
Failed.
maintained.
I'll get it, Melissa.
Go ahead.
I'll get it. So it's a matter of the RSA's and the litigation. The town owns the land by a landowner right per RSA 236.13 VI. The town is legally responsible to maintain the culverts.
No, it isn't. And I don't have a problem with you spending a lot of money with lawyers, and you're just gonna find yourself spending a lot of money for nothing. The town gave that property a right of way over town land. We never constructed that driveway. Someone who built that house constructed the driveway. You didn't.
No,
construct it.
not me.
So they constructed a driveway. As an example, my neighbor lives on 15 acres next to my 40 acres. And he accesses his property over my property through a right of way on our driveway. And that's perfectly fine, and we cohabitate, we spend money together on fixing the driveway up. But he doesn't have any ownership interest in that driveway, other than his right of access to his house.
Correct. And that's what I have, is right of access to my house.
Right, and the only way but you're the only person out there, so.
Not true.
Not true. no.
Not true, sir. The Chandler Trail has vehicular access and pedestrian.
So the way that it works is that the reason that we have that property is because that driveway also gives access to the parking area for the Parkhurst
And it's-
property.
And that's in the deed.
So you go up their driveway and then right at their property line, you turn right and it's a driveway, another addition, but it's not paved, that goes into a parking lot.
This is not on any list of public roads that I'm aware of.
It's not a public road, it's
Well,
an.
that's what we're claiming, I mean, that's, the lady here is claiming, that it's a public way.
It is.
So,
According to the deed in 1953,
that we're responsible for it.
it is. The 1953 deed clearly states that it's a right of way And the other thing too is that since the Parkhurst property became in perpetuity and conservation,
Yeah,
it landlocked this 301. So the only way to go to traverse from surface is through the right of way, which again mitigates 301 all responsibility for maintenance. By the
And if
I
I
don't know
wasn't
the
responsible,
legal-
why
No,
did you
no,
drive it yellow?
I can only explain to
So-
the selectmen how
yeah,
it
no,
works, right?
again,
So their property is totally landlocked.
yeah, landlocked.
Tugwell Lane is on the left-hand side. We own the other three corners of it.
it's,
The only way into that property is across that right of way, which is in the deed.
exactly, so it's not landlocked. I mean, let's not ban
Well,
terms
okay.
that don't exist.
All right,
If you have access to
Apologize.
your property, it's not landlocked. The question in hand is, who maintains that access?
Right.
And I guess we're gonna have to send this off to our town attorney and figure out if we're responsible, cause I've been a selectman in this current iteration for,
Forever.
yeah, 8 years, I think. And this is the first I've heard of this road being somehow under the aegis of the town. So I need to have some clarity in my mind.
Yeah.
Me too.
So,
Uh,
I'm sorry, what I said before, it goes in a little deeper, meaning when you start to have somebody look into these deeds,
Mhm.
it is gonna get a little messy as far as like, it is, but
That's why they have legal training.
and that's it's good, but we spent 4 hours digging through them, and again, this is where trying to be neighborly, like, we sunk a ton of money into making sure, because when I first looked at it, there was a oil rim from the water blowing over the driveway from the asphalt's got oil in it,
Mhm.
and it was, where do you think it was going?
Yeah,
And again, all we're saying here is like, we spent, it's $15,000 to get that, to have somebody to have somebody with experience to come up, know who to call in an emergency. Fortunately, I know some people, call DES, get some authorization, get an emergency permit, go through review process, like, it's just, again, how we see this is, we're just trying to do the right thing, but this.
Well, part of the issue is the same issue that we had in the previous case was, I mean, we're having lots more rain, so the drainage becomes a really big issue. I mean, we've gotten 2 years now and that's why I asked the road agent if he'd gotten any money from FEMA on some of these storms. But let us at least examine the deed and get some surety as to what direction we can go.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
of
if
course.
we have some responsibility, then we talk one way. If we don't, then we have to figure out.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's all I wanna know
Yeah,
is who's
that's all.
responsible for what, so that I do
Because-
what I'm supposed to do. I'm not looking to stick it to the town, but I got yelled at by this gentleman because we were doing the emergency repair because I was on
Okay,
his
so-
land.
And
So I just wanna know, what do I do? What's my
and
responsibility?
hold on, but in his defense,
There's no defense.
in his defense, when he came to the property, it looked like something that was completely illegitimately wrong. And by right, with his responsibilities for what he's in charge of for the board, he was doing the right thing. But again, it's just emergency situation.
Right.
It was a
And I'm sure it is a lot better currently because the lake level's so high.
Well, it is, and,
It
and
is.
honestly, it was flooding even before we were getting heavy rain. And the nice thing is since the culverts went in, we've had lots of heavy rain. There haven't been any issues. And again, I just want to be a good neighbor. I'm not trying to do anything I'm not supposed to do. I'm
So
a fan
the-
of the trail.
Did I hear you say that the culverts are now doing what this was not mitigating? They've mitigated what this was
So
causing?
the culverts in place were on the deed for the Parkhurst property. It shows on a map called the plan, dating way back. It shows 2 culverts. There's actually 3. But in the process of fixing these first 2, which I'm assuming either that the pipes were at different elevations is because the lake rises and falls, or somebody thought that there was probably spotted turtles or the bullnose snake, and they needed a way to get through. But the 3rd culvert was like, we just found it. So we didn't fix that one because, I don't know what it's for. It was way too high. So for the volume of the 3 culverts at 12 inches was technically a 36-inch pipe. We installed two 18 inches. The first one at the lowest point of the driveway stays half full all the time, but the second one takes the overflow and pulls through. And since DES has said that they would go up and do the review, there hasn't been any issues so far.
So when were the culverts installed?
Around
Roughly,
March,
just roughly.
March
The Saturday storm, the last storm we had, the big storm that rolled into Saturday, we did it that Sunday.
27th, March
We did it
27th.
that Sunday, in the snow. We
And
did
is
it
the
that day.
posting in the same property of the truck?
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
yeah.
where so we got a letter from you around the same time all this was happening, and that was how I realized that conservation was even involved, because the GIS on the town just says town of Tufton Borough. So then,
So when Steve showed up, we just took the signs down. and got
yeah,
rid
I mean,
of it.
I didn't even know they said no trespassing. It wasn't the
I don't
intent.
know what the Parkers get the right says to.
They limit the activities, but I don't have a problem with hunting. I just don't. I really don't.
So I went through everything and I did not, no offense, but I did not find any limiting on any of the people. She can post her own property, I have no problem with that.
How big is that lot down there?
And
2 acres.
also, if she's having a problem with hunters not following the rule, I mean, she has to call Fish and Game, or the police department. We have nothing to do with that.
Correct. Yeah, you're absolutely
Using
right.
that
Yeah.
parking.
You're
And we had this conversation.
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah. Once we kind of established who was who,
Yeah,
things went very smoothly and
right.
we started progressing, because again, the way Steve reacted was like, again, what he's responsible for and being passionate about it is what they're supposed to be doing, and it does look illegitimate sitting this on the side of the lake. I know how that looks, but I mean, like, as far as what we had to do to get this emergency fix so we could get heating oil on the property because it ran out, and emergency vehicles in, we went through every single channel, and DES had their package in 18 hours upon completion of this. So if this is something that the town has to, get involved in, just know that DES, they've been right along all the way.
So at the end of the day, what do you need from us?
I just
What are you
need to know
looking for?
who's responsible,
Yeah.
because there's another culvert.
we
And
can-
if it is my responsibility, I want to properly clean them out because they haven't been maintained for 17 years. And if it isn't my responsibility, I just want the town to come and clear them out like they're supposed to. And I just want to know who has to do the third one if it's got to be done. If it's me, I'm happy to have it be me. I have no problem maintaining the driveway. I plow it, even though you guys use it, the town uses it. I plow it. I'm doing all the maintenance. I just want to know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, and
And,
what am I
know,
supposed to do.
Maybe,
That's all.
maybe it would be cheaper to install a culvert for these people and have them sign off
Well, and I've held off
that
paving
we don't
because of
maintain
this.
it, than pay legal fees.
Well, I mean,
No? You don't like that?
Go ahead and say it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you haven't solved the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it exists, I think we might spend $1,000 on an opinion from our town council. And that's
So-
certainly less than, whatever the color cost is.
It's
But even if, I
$16,000.
mean, if it is we're gonna still use it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it weren't for the Parker's property, I'd say, sure, that's a good idea, well, let's give it to them. But what are we using it for parking for that conservation easement? So it's part and parcel, that's the only reason I would back off of my original statement, which was if it's your driveway, you take care of it and pay for it. If we're using it for town purposes, i.e. the conservation easement, access to it, then let's decide who really
Yeah.
owns the right of
So
way.
Melissa and I talked
Okay.
about it, because the cost to do the repair is $16,000 with everything, and we stopped with the paving, and we told DES we're stopping here because, one, the plants were closed at the time, and two, we're not putting in permeable surfaces through a mitigated wetlands until we talk to you. That's through good neighborly, that's the right way to do it. So Melissa and I talked about this, and if that was the case, if you guys didn't want to pay for the repairs, that was something that maybe through deed searches and fixing it, maybe the property, the responsibility and the right of way go back to the title of 301. I'm sure that can happen, or again, this gets cleaned up as far as deeds, and the town becomes, rightly responsible if that's the way how we read.
But I think we need to start from the point of the.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
park.
We do agree. We do agree.
Agree.
Yeah, once we get that information, then let's have another chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all
That's
that's
all
all
we-
we're looking for.
Because
Same.
we wouldn't be in the business of paving it, even if we owned it.
Yeah.
Be simple.
Right, right.
Because it's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So we would just put a dirt road in there.
Yeah.
If you want a paved driveway, that's on your nickel.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
really
it just, the
not-
pavement got to the point where it wasn't even safe
Yeah,
for
it
the
wasn't-
public to be crossing. I mean, they weren't gonna sue you, they were gonna sue me, and even though I would have been able to defend it because it was town property,
Right.
that doesn't save me the cost that I'm going to incur defending it, you know what I mean? That's,
Right.
that's it. I mean, I wanna be a reasonable neighbor. I'm a big fan of the trail.
So again, like we just with same thing with the other issue we talked about. We're just trying to do the neighborly thing where conservation can have whatever the deed. It is messy. It's terrible, but I've seen worse, but not that much worse. And
Okay,
however we can clear it up so that if the town wants to take the bill and pay it, you know, so be it. Or if they're gonna turn the property over, however you want to say, I don't know. That's fine, but we just
do you want these?
we just feel we need to adjust this because, like I said, there's a
I mean, I don't even know what the status of the road is. If it's, it can't be a class 5, it's not going.
It's not a road, it's a right of way that's been paved actually, so it's not even a road, Jay.
Yeah, let's just figure out what the status
Yeah,
is, and then
yeah.
we'll chat again. I think that's the best way about it.
Okay.
And then we'll know for certain, or we can pass it down to the next board of selectmen.
yeah.
Oh, come on, you've been here forever. You'll still be here.
I'm gonna be here forever.
Fair
Not
enough.
running again.
Yeah.
I won't run again.
He's like, great, now that this issue exists. Just so you know, this was what I was going off of. I had this old flyer for the Chandler Wild Trail. And that was where I got my information. It wasn't that I was like trying to create new rules. Yeah, and it says the activities
You have
are
the open
limited
bids for the
to only
cruiser?
those
Yeah.
permitted activities. So
So
my
you guys
understanding was
running
that
over-
hunting
over so
wasn't
much.
allowed.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I knew it
have
was
a
gonna be
problem
one
with
night.
hunting.
Yeah.
That is
I'm
not
glad
what
we
I have
got-
an issue with.
I'm glad we got
That's
some-
where I got the
Yeah.
information, just so you know.
Yeah,
Good
the-
information.
The deeds are,
I'm sorry?
the deeds are.
Clean that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Whatever you guys.
We'll
think.
see.
I'm not
I
trying
mean,
to create
that's why
rules for stuff I don't know.
these
I
people
just-
get
that
paid
was
the
my
big bucks, so to speak.
Exactly. That's how we feel about it. So thank you very much,
Thank you.
Steve. Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
All right, open bids for cruisers, for the cruiser.
Bid.
Bid, we have just one? Audrey?
Yes.
So regardless.
That's a big letter opener.
And nothing online, I thought we had some online thing
Some what?
going on. Online bidding,
Audrey says we only have one bid.
okay.
Well, up for bid is 2016 Ford Explorer Interceptor, 108,000 miles. And we have a minimum, with a minimum bid of $5,000. And the bid amount is $5,005.
So,
And seeing as we only have one bid, and I got... Cammy, you sure there's only one bid?
Yeah,
Okay. Then,
they had till 4 o'clock today to get them in.
okay.
I'll make a motion that we sell it for $5,005 to whoever that is.
I second that.
Yeah, I can't pronounce the, Yosef Daba? Yosef Daba?
Is that on federal court?
Are we shipping it?
No. And I hope not, because he's from Illinois. He's gotta be, Ringwood Motors, Ringwood, Illinois.
Yeah, the specs say he has so much time to get the money, pick it up, etc.
yeah, terms are very specific on the town website.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that why our police chief is here?
You ask for him for every meeting. You ask him to come in for every meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he's been sitting out there patiently. He's not on our agenda, but
Well,
come on up to the table, chief.
We do it after our agenda.
Get you out of here.
Was this gift supposed to be for somebody else?
That's for Audrey.
Alright, there you are. How are you this evening?
Very well, yourself?
Good, good. This is updated.
all right.
Alright, so this would be the full month of April. Call outs, suspicious vehicle call out on the 12th. On the 14th, there was a follow-up investigation that Sergeant LaFave was called out for. And I was called out for an alarm on the 19th. As far as training goes, I did an online course reference our cybersecurity stuff that we're doing through Lakes Region Computer. And Administrative French did the bloodborne pathogens, back injury prevention, and slip and trip and fall, which was part of some of those safety things that the Joint Loss Committee wanted us to kind of do so that we could show that we were proactive in our training of reducing injuries and that type of thing. So as far as
So you've got three
yeah, sorry.
computer crimes in your list of felonies.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So, let's see, things have pretty much stayed about the same. Our accidents went up to 8 just recently. We've had a couple. Our arrests bumped up to 2 and 2. Felonies, on Thursday, I worked a 9 to 5 shift. Between 9 and 11:30, I ended up with 3 felonies, 2 felonies and a misdemeanor, I'm sorry, within 2.5 hours on Thursday alone.
Wow.
So that bumped us up on our felonies. And our incidents, obviously, which our investigations have gone up. And you can see our calls for service are within, roughly 35 calls with each of us. Keep in mind that in 2023, we had 3 and 4 officers that were employed, and this year we had 3 and 2 officers employed for that amount of stuff. Breaking down the felonies, you've seen the 2023 stats already. Those have not changed, obviously. The ones for 24, we added, let's see, a larceny and a criminal mischief, and I believe it was the destruction of property, I think, is what we have recently picked up. So this past week alone, we've had domestic violence assault arrest, and that bumped our number up to the arrests you see on that page. We've received 2 investigations involving juveniles. One was possibly a sexual assault. The other is being determined through the investigation process as to whether there was any crime, and if so, what that crime was. Attempted burglary was on that Thursday. It appears that there was a lot of damage. I'm not 100% sure yet that anybody got into the home. Felony level theft, which we ended up solving, and we were able to get the product back for the victim, and a felony level criminal mischief, and that was a business in town that has a perishable item, and they lost some item due to somebody going on their property. Let's see, you guys are probably aware of the fatal motorcycle accident on the 25th, Governor Wentworth Highway. Tufton Borough Fire, Stewart's Ambulance, the CCSO handled the crash scene. And then we followed up with helping to notify the next of kin, and then going into a bunch of follow-ups the following day. There's a report of a vehicle being broken into at the trailhead at Bald Knob. That was, I believe, either Monday or Tuesday. Molten Borough had one at the gatehouse at Castle in the Clouds as well around that same time frame. And then I had heard through putting some feelers out that Mount Major may have been hit, a place in Plymouth, and also Waterville Valley, mainly hiking areas. So somebody's, I don't know if it's all one person, somebody is going around and obviously starting to do some of the smash and grabs on some of these trailheads. So we need to keep an eye open on the Bald Knob, trailhead. See, Sergeant LaFave and I have conducted 52 directed patrols since February 20th in different areas of town for traffic enforcement. His application has been submitted to Primex for the Supervisors Academy coming up early June. That's all been pushed through. We're waiting for the confirmation to come back on that. Sergeant LaFave conducted drug take-back on the transfer station April 27th. He ended up filling 3 boxes. They all weighed a total of 81.2 pounds that were turned into the DEA for disposal.
That's impressive.
Moultonboro was around the 70-pound mark.
So that's all like no questions asked. Just you're getting rid of your drugs.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. You turn around and you turn in whatever you want to turn in, and that type of thing. So I think that somewhere around 2 or 3 boxes. I think Moultonboro had around 3 or 4. Wolfboro, as an example, I think was the highest in Carroll County. They had like 18 boxes for 430 something pounds that was turned in for destruction. So that's pretty good to see. That's a big jump. Conditional offer candidate completed his polygraph with no issues. His appointment for the medical physical is going to actually be tomorrow, and that's going to be the last step in the background process. So the next thing would be to have him come in to see you guys and have a talk with him and see what you think and see what we can work out. The oral board for the second open officer position is set for the afternoon of May 13th, and all 3 applicants have confirmed their attendance to that. So we'll be running that and then making a decision probably from after that point. A couple of things to kind of throw out at you. If we need to table it, then we can. Concerned citizen asked about pedestrian crossing or caution signs at Pier 19. I know that there was a big thing about that, and lights and all this other stuff, and I don't know where it went.
We have a plan that was donated by Tom Young from Melvin Village Marina. He paid for all the engineering.
Okay.
We put it out to bid.
Okay.
We didn't get any respondents.
Okay.
So if you know somebody,
So you actually maybe go back to the citizen and encourage them to.
Yeah, if they know of anybody
If they can,
who's interested,
you know what I
in
mean,
building
like
a crosswalk
okay,
and
you know, if
system
we,
for us. We have somebody like something
I'm
to
a
say.
citizen.
Yep.
the citizen.
I suggested the use of, it's like a traffic cone, but it has a little man on it. They use them right in downtown Holdings all the time on Route 3. That designates a crosswalk. You put it right in the middle of the road as a temporary measure until something could be done that was more permanent. And that was my suggestion.
the only caveat to that would be that the state hasn't allowed us to reduce the speed limit there. So I know going through like Holderness,
You've seen them.
you get a 30 mile or 35 mile an hour.
I'm
That
not.
was my suggestion.
I'm not opposed.
The ones that I see are pertaining to crosswalks. So the question's going to be is when you don't have a crosswalk down there, do we need to jump through a hoop with DOT to get permission to stick something in the
Well, I think
in the
we
road?
have Permission to
So.
put in a crosswalk, I think that's all set.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all been
All right.
approved.
We just need
Okay.
Somebody to do it.
So we need a painter.
Well, there's lighting too.
Oh,
There's
there's.
electrical
Flashing
work.
light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a matter of painting a crosswalk on the road.
The state would come in and do it, but we have to sacrifice someone.
It'd be the newest.
It's like trying to
selectmen.
get the roads paved on
So Charlie
109A.
has to die in order for the state to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, let me put some feelers out on that and see what's going on. I assume we have everything we need here, plan wise and all that good stuff that they should. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
posting caution sign for children at play, Sodom and New Road.
Yes.
That's a a single resident request, or is there any?
That is a single resident request.
Sodom and New Road.
Yep, apparently New Road, coming to Sodom.
On Mayor's Corner.
Yeah, at Maris Corner. There are some kids that are in the area
Alright.
there.
Sorry.
So,
Family.
so I don't know, probably isn't a bad idea. I don't know how
I like
often the
slow
children are there.
signs.
I was one of those.
I was one of those too.
Yep. And then the other one was somebody came in about speeding on Shirley Way in front of their house. They were hoping that the 35 mile per hour could be reduced to 25. I did speak with Chief Varney. He really said that he lives further down in the development. He's not noticing as many people speeding by his house, except for one person that lives past him, that he spoke to them neighbor to neighbor, and that seems to have curbed that. They would take an act of the board to, to drop that down and get the signage for that.
Well, I thought we did that already.
I can't imagine driving 35 in that places.
Right.
No, but seriously, I thought we did that already.
We could look it up in the minutes, but I don't.
I don't think you dropped it, but you did say put a sign up, because there was no signage.
Are we?
So what happened was Andy said if there was never a speed limit sign, then a 35 mile an hour sign could be put up, so that is why that's got put up.
Okay. Because our ordinance say 35 miles an hour on paved roads,
Yes,
Yes.
25 miles an hour on dirt roads.
correct.
Correct.
Those are the two speed limits in town.
Unless the
Unless-
board chooses,
That's why it's there.
Right.
they have the authority to change it.
Yeah.
So, food for thought on that one.
Well, I'd make a motion that we do the children at play sign. That seems like a reasonable request.
So much for my slow children idea. I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have few enough children in this town as it is.
And Shirley Way 35 to 25. I would do that if I got a recommendation from our chief of police to do that. If you think it's necessary. Do you really think it's necessary?
There are quite a few houses in there. And, it was the same type of thing that I think that we saw a long time ago on Tuftonboro Neck Road. It was a 35, people are walking, people are doing certain things. The town said, we're gonna bump it to 25, and that's the way it's been for, I guess, however long after that.
Is there a lot of pedestrian traffic on Shirley Way?
I see a few people walking on patrol when I go through there. I would tell you that my experience has been that probably 70% of the time when I go in and I do a loop around and I come back, it's during the day, and 70% of the time I don't meet a car. 30% of the time I might meet a car. I've never had any speeds in there that I would have stopped a car for. But I'm not living there. I'm not necessarily there all the time when people are going out to work and coming home to work. So I'm not sure about the times that I'm
But
not
they
there.
all, I think the majority of the traffic in there are people that live there. Unless somebody's running an Airbnb or something down there.
I would agree.
So I
Probably
think
friends, family, guests,
They all have
and
the same vested interest in keeping speeds down.
And this also opens up a can of worms too. If we do it there, we might have to do it on Pine Mill. We might have
So-
to do it on other neighborhoods.
So can we, is there any way that you could do a patrol or 2 or 3, I don't know, however many, during those times that you suggested, the going to work times, the coming home times? Is that something you could do to just make an observation?
well, I think I have one better for you. How about if we stick one of the radar signs in there? We black it out so that it'll record the data, but it won't record how fast people are going to sway anything. I can collect the data and I can bring it back to you.
Sure. That's a good
And
idea.
that way it would be a needs study that would have some data behind it to see.
Maybe a turn as a patrol officer as well.
Well, yes, absolutely. We could do that. Yep.
Sounds like a good idea.
And what's the turnaround time on that? Is it a month
As much
is.
as we want, we can, month.
No, that's what I guess that's
A week?
that's the question is.
Yeah, more time, more data.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't want to.
Um,
I'm
I
not trying
can-
to rush.
Nope, I can go in tomorrow. I think the big thing's going to be is if there is a signpost that I can mount a bracket to, because those brackets are bolted in a certain way. Then when you lock the sign down onto the bracket, theoretically it's supposed to deter theft. So if I could find a place to secure the sign, I don't want to give one to anybody. I'm going to try to figure that out and scout that area a little bit, see if I can do that.
I recommend keeping the sign away from Bald Knob.
Do that.
Do not put it
Right.
there.
All right, we can do that. I won't leave it in the cruiser.
And park it at Bald Knob.
And then the only thing that I didn't put in here was one of the goals that I had for myself would be, what do you folks think about me revamping the lake access ordinance a little bit and relook at that? I think it's time for an upgrade.
Love to have you
Lake
look at it.
access and parking and all that stuff.
I think it's a great idea.
Right, we've already had one discussion earlier tonight.
Oh, okay.
about, the boat parking at 91.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wharf.
Okay.
And also the parking ordinances in 19 Mile Bay.
Okay.
So yeah, I
Right.
think a good hard look at that would be good.
Okay. I
One
will.
of the things on my report was a citizen was wondering if there could be a handicap boat spot at the wharf.
We don't own, on the wharf.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that was a
I
thing.
don't know.
Well, what
Never
I
heard
can
of such
tell
a
you
thing.
is, and we might need to reach out to Wolfboro because I've only heard it through sources, is that there is actually a handicapped lift at the town docks that they were pushed into installing because they had a public place with a public recreation that
Wasn't ADA
wasn't
compliant.
ADA compliant, and they had to put a lift into downtown. I'm not suggesting that that's where we have to go, but you're right, I don't know that I've ever seen a handicapped boat mooring spot anywhere, but
And I just wonder
So,
if
I
we
don't know.
wouldn't extend this abuse of parking privileges by whoever it is that has the handicap plate on his car and leaves it at 90 Mile Pier or Union Wharf all summer long. Now, if we have a handicap boat spot, does that mean they have a permanent boat slip at 19 Mile Bay?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm a little troubled.
And is it a 12-foot runabout or is it a, 30-foot yacht?
They have their own spot. I mean, I'm all for giving people access. As far as the parking down there, I'm all for saying, okay, we'll give you a ride back from the public parking that's up in the big lot across the street. And if you need a ride to it, we'll get you a ride to it. But you can't just leave your car here for the whole summer. And I think that's really abusive, over the top. I mean, I'm not certain of what handicap they have, so I can't diss them for that, but
right.
one of the handicaps they do have is being rude. So,
And I have no problem with a handicap spot, but maybe there should be a time limit, no overnight parking.
or just, if he's gonna be there all summer out on the island, let's figure out how we can keep that spot open for people who are,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be transient.
yeah,
Exactly.
people who just come
It's
and go.
transient. It's not meant to be long term.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we put up a second sign down there. I believe there's two spots down there, and I think that was part of why one was being taken up all the time. So the transient population coming in that needed that spot didn't have it. I can double check on that, but I'm pretty sure there were two slots down there. We threw up another sign just to kind of help out the cause. But I don't think it's a bad idea to have one there right near the wharf. I just, yeah. But
Somebody hogs it up for the summer, no one else can use it.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
there's not only one person with a handicap out
That's
on the
right.
lake, I'm sure.
So the person who asked for the handicap boat spot,
Yeah?
I asked how they got to and from the dock. They park at the parking lot and they walk down. so I don't know why they need a
Must be
handicap
different
vote
kind
spot.
of.
Mentally handicapped.
I mean, they have a handicapped child, who knows? Is there,
The reason is not my business,
yeah, is there some
not our business.
accommodation that we need to make, and if there is, we should talk about it.
All right, well, we look forward to your recommendation.
Okay.
Got everybody calling you chief now?
Among other things, yeah, no, yes,
How many
it's all
slackers
been,
out there?
it's all been, it's all been good. I've
How's
had
that
a
new
lot of
sergeant?
congratulations.
How's that new sergeant working out?
New sergeant is working very good. You know, he's doing well, so I'm hoping that we can, you know, do something with this third position here, or fourth position, however you wanna look at it, and, you know, get somebody in sooner than later, you know, for the most part.
Third position, the person you're gonna bring in for us to interview now that he's gone through the process, is that a candidate that needs to go to the academy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So theoretically, after 16 weeks, he'll be out. We'll make sure he's squared away. I would suspect that we might see him on his own by Halloween. Is probably a
Reasonable
time frame to bounce off of. So before that, we hire him sooner before the academy. He's locked to one of us, either the sergeant or I. He can't be alone. He's not certified, and then we get him to the academy. I think what we'll do is I will assign him to Sergeant Lefebvre. Sergeant Lefebvre can start working on the FTO process before the academy, and then we can get a lot of some of that knocked off. Right. And so that when he comes back, we either just have a little bit to do, or we don't have much to do at all, and that'll save time on the end. And then whomever we choose that's already certified for the last position, would be pretty easy for me to just jump in, and that's a abbreviated FTO of things like geography and what we do here, and if they aren't familiar with the court here, we get them to the court and see the process and all that stuff. They don't have to go through all the laws and all that stuff. They're already been there, done that. So
We onboard a new officer, we're making a pretty significant investment in this person. Is there a time frame that they lock in to work for us? Can we hold them to some kind of a time frame?
Hey, you try.
we've always had a training contract of 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Courts have ruled that it is something that is prorated. So they don't have to stay here 3 years. They could stay here a year, pay off the other 2, and say,
You
look.
can't create indentured servitude.
Yeah.
Basically what it.
It's a right to work state.
I'm sorry?
This is a right to work state, which means
Absolutely.
you can go anywhere
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
But maybe he'd be honored, bound to a gentleman's agreement.
Well, hopefully back to the fact that we gave him the opportunity,
Luck with that.
and that we created a good workplace for him.
Yeah.
Well, he did seek us out. I think he has a lot of other issues that could have worked for him in his favor somewhere else, and I can get into that when we meet. But he came to see us, as well as those other 3 that we'll be interviewing during the oil board on the 13th. They came to see us. We didn't put it out there looking for it. So that kind of tells me that
He's motivated.
they want to be here,
Oh,
right?
good.
They want to be here. So if we can play on that, I think that'll be great.
Good, awesome.
And that's all I have, gentlemen.
Anything else for the chief?
Good.
Thank you very much, chief.
All right, thank you. I appreciate your
Thanks,
time.
Next on the list is work session. Basically discussion, a quick discussion. Are we doing a work session Friday?
For the solar,
Yeah.
it's very unusual to have a late Friday afternoon meeting.
Mm-hmm.
and you
Depends
don't-
on what did we do
You
today.
don't have administrative support to take minutes, so.
Yep. I got a lot to do Friday. If we do have a work session, I'd like it to be early in the morning or,
Right, it's my recommendation.
it's my anniversary. I don't want it later in the afternoon either, so.
It's my recommendation you do it Tuesday, but I think if you've looked at the solar bids, if you agree only one of them needs to be spoken to or 2 of them need to be spoken to, we can invite those 2 in.
I've looked at it. I mean, I can discuss it for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've got,
Okay.
See, and get somewhere tonight.
Maybe you don't need to meet. with
Maybe we don't
them,
need
I
a
know.
full-fledged work session. Are you?
No, I think we could winnow it down to one tonight,
Yeah,
easily.
absolutely.
But then we-
I don't know about easily. I'm not putting that one out there.
Well,
It's pretty simple if you look at it.
I don't know. Okay, well, you'll have to educate me
All right.
because I'm not.
we've
I'm
got,
not seeing that.
we've got 3 bids for our solar. Yeah. Actually, Chip, this is your project.
All right, we got 3 bids.
You wanna,
I'm gonna go through it for you. I should have made a copy, I could, I don't know if you can read my handwriting. But what I did was I basically broke it down to what's the cost per panel on each one. And you take the number of panels, divide it into the gross cost of the project. And so I'm getting the cost of the panels, how many kilowatt hours we're putting out, maintenance cost per year, the renewable energy credits and how they're paid for and established, for warranty, notes, the install timing, and then I had a couple in the notes, for instance, fencing. So Bright Spot, and I've made some phone calls on Bright Spot installations, and I'm not convinced, and I'm now convinced, that the service element is not where we wanna go. I mean, I talked at length with my friends at Volkswagen in Rochester, and there's a lot of service going on, and there's commensurate downtime for that. He's not willing to look at, US made panels, although his are German or.
South Korea.
South Korea.
Well, the trackers are South Korea. The panels are Australian. Inverters German.
The install cost for the panels is $1,458 a panel, so that's lower, but his wattage on the panels is 445. Barrington, the wattage is 550, and revision is 590. Their panel cost is $1,800 in round figures for US panels. If we go with non-US panels, Barrington drops to $1,648.
Yeah, but Barrington is also out of our price range.
Right.
Well,
Other than non-US.
not if you go non-US, so that's why you put that in there. I mean, there are a number of issues with Bright Spot. They're not willing to give us a service contract other than taking our renewable energy credits, which I think is foolishness, because he's betting on the arbitrage of those credits
Mm-hmm.
and kind of fluffing through it. So he's saying it will cost us about $3,180, or that's the credits we get, but his service contract, or maintenance cost is $4,800 a year. It's
Per? Are we talking about per tracker?
No, for the whole thing.
For the whole thing. Okay.
$1,000 for the whole thing from Barrington and $1,203 for revision.
Now, Bright Spot was the only one that was gonna be, doing a tracker, right? The
Correct.
other 2 are ground
The other 2
mounted.
are fixed.
Yeah. So he's looking at a 10-year warranty for that program. Sign over the renewable energy credits for service, but you gotta sign them over for 20 years. That's his proposal. His install timing is shorter than everybody else at 3 to 6 months. He didn't list a bond. We are by law mandated to have a bond on anything over 175,000.
175?
So we need to have a bond on these. Barrington is jumping around between the US and the non-US panels, and also getting less product out of non-US, so you get 100 kilowatt hours versus 125 in the US. His maintenance cost $1,000, this is about the same. Renewable energy credits, I can just calculate those, he's not interested in us giving them that to him.
My concern with both of the
He
fixed.
didn't include an actual contract in his bid. He gave us an example of some contract.
The example one, right, thought I saw a contract.
Which wasn't helpful, I didn't think,
Yeah.
at all. And he's looking at getting it done by the end of '24. On page 4 of his proposal, he said there's an 8-foot fence with a gate. On page 8,
Mhm.
the gate's not included.
Not
in the
included,
fence.
right, I saw that.
So, I mean, look, can we clean that up a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so we go to revision. There are 172 panels, cost $18.55 a panel, they're US made, so that's pretty close to Barrington. They're at 122.
They're US made in
kilowatts.
revision?
I'm sorry?
I don't have that revisions is US made.
Yeah, if you look at the.
Yeah, I looked at it. I didn't see that. It said
they were all over the
it
back,
said German South Korean panels.
But, wait.
That's what I got too.
Wait. The pictures.
Where did I see that?
Okay. QP Duo XL G11S series.
Yeah, I looked those up. They're
Okay.
South Korean and German. And they have plants in USA too.
Plants in the US.
so it could be
qualifies-
Hanwha Q-Cell.
So that qualifies them for,
Yeah, you have the USA
For the
thing
stamp.
right here at the bottom.
Okay.
Okay, and they qualify for whatever,
yeah.
because they have, their largest plant is in Georgia.
So they figured out a way to make it so that they're US made with quotes. In other words, okay.
Well, they probably are made in the US, they're just not designed and owned by the US. At any rate, 122 kilowatt, maintenance cost per year is $1,200 to $1,800, but it's a set price. So it's 12 or 18 depending on which package of maintenance. you
Right, option 1
choose.
or option 2.
Right. The RECs on this, the renewable energy credits, 3660. The warranty, you gotta look at the packet, cause it's a big warranty. And then their install timing is 24, maybe into 25. They do include a 6-foot fence with a gate.
Yeah, I got that was my biggest concern with revision was that I thought it said spring summer of 25.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Their
They do
timeline
this.
for commissioning.
They spread it out that far depending on when
Yeah.
the co-op does what their co-op's doing. The only other thing they do is they have arrangements for, and it's the in-house lawyers and paralegals that make everything happen. Where you have a virtual net metering with a co-op, which have already arranged with other towns, so it's not brand new. They also have their team doing your filing for your 30% rebate, and also the filings for the REC.
I mean, it's clear that it can be done by the end of the year,
Yeah.
but revisions telling us that it may not be done until spring of 25,
Right.
which is going to affect our revenue that we projected for.
We haven't projected any revenue.
We did.
for
We
25.
projected $7,000.
Okay, $7,000, but the $100,000 or the $90,000 30% rebate.
Yeah.
Doesn't come until 25 anyway, so, or maybe 26.
And I was concerned about revisions' total output. What they designed was less than.
And that's, so I did the math and figuring that their panel cost is the barometer or the gauge. Adding 10 panels pushes you up to the 100%. So you get 94% that they say it's gonna cover.
Mhm.
Add 10 panels, now you've got 100% covered. 10 panels cost you $337,703 versus $317,000.
Which is
So I
under
think
our
that's-
budget.
That's, yeah. So my recommendation would be to call revision up, have them come in, tell them we need to readjust the size of this so that we get 100% of our needs. And then send the copy of the contract over to our attorney, because it is so loaded with protections for the contractor, no protection for the customer.
Of course. We also have to talk about location because Chris is concerned about
Right, and she
snow.
already said that this is maybe not the best location, or maybe we could pick up
Yeah.
more if we moved it. But, yeah, we haven't, and so we need our legal to take a look at the contract, and there was no bond mentioned in hers either, so we need to add the bond.
Yep.
So, and because I think this.
Which is on us. The cost of the bond is on us.
No, the cost of the bond should be on
On
them.
them.
Right, but they add it to their project costs.
Right.
It's the same
Which
thing.
comes out to us.
Um,
Right.
Right.
So that was my biggest concern with the revision, is their kilowatt output was less than everybody else.
Right.
Their price was well under budget, which gives us room to bring it
To
up
bring it
to
up.
And
the
their,
kilowatt output up to where we want it to be.
their production is less because the other two are 240 panels and 210 panels, and they're at 172.
But also Revision is the big player. I think Revision's gonna be around for a while. The other two companies, you know, the solar thing, this could fall flat in 5-10 years, and we'll have nobody to service it. I think Revision's gonna be around for a while.
Well, and the fixed, either one of the fixed ones have a considerably less maintenance and downtime.
Right, cause you don't have
You don't have the tracker. No,
The
but
tracker. But the tracker
But the
could pay for itself,
the tracker pays for itself at a quicker rate. So that's
theoretically.
well, and that's just it, right? And I appreciate you having somebody to talk to who already owns these,
Right.
because that was my first question. Of course, was what is the real maintenance? Not what they tell us, but what is the real maintenance on these things? What's the real downtime?
I did also have a local resident, 17 panels, her electric bill, and they put it. And it does, it's running a credit constantly. I got it here somewhere. So she's currently running a $390 credit for the year. But she's never paid
On a fixed or a tracking system?
fixed. So she hasn't paid the co-op any money for electricity in 12 months.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
Yeah. And if you read into the revision program, she's expecting the co-op to cut us a check every month. And, cause that's what she's negotiated with other towns, I suppose, because what I was informed was that the co-op pays you every year. You know, and that's kind of troublesome when you're trying to run an annual budget.
Mhm.
So, I think my recommendation is to call a revision and hammer out some more details, figure out what they come up with.
My brief study, this came with Revision on top too.
Right.
Would Tuesday be a good night for that? If she's available?
Let me look.
It's the 7th. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good for me.
yeah. What time are you thinking? Like late afternoon kind of thing?
Yeah, at 4:30.
4:30.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that work for you, Chip?
Yeah, okay, I'll give these guys one more 4:30, but the next one's gonna be in the morning, whether you like it or not, we'll
All
figure
your
it out.
meetings are at 4:30.
Because all of our meetings are at 4:30, now all of our special meetings are at 4:30. I'm gonna call a morning meeting one of
They
these days.
work.
Well,
I
what
don't care if they
time?
work.
If you want
I
to start at
worked
7
when I
o'clock,
first became a selectman, I worked.
if you want to
So
start
then-
at 7 o'clock, I'm happy to start at 7 o'clock.
Do whatever you gotta do. Take a day
But-
off.
but-
I'm
No.
I'm a little bit more flexible than he is, but yeah, I mean, when I first
I mean,
came on,
I'm
I'm not the one that changed the afternoon schedule. She did.
I'm changing it,
Yell at her.
so,
I'm flexible. I can do morning.
yeah, just make it, I'm putting you on notice, that's all. So if it takes you 6 months to figure it out, it takes 6 months to figure it out, but figure it out.
You chump. Jeez.
Aren't you retired?
Or I am.
Right?
I am.
I don't get this. How is it?
I just.
How is that a thing?
It's nap time.
Yeah.
We're cramming his
I'm
nap
working all
time.
day. Just like you, you get paid by somebody else to work. I work for myself all day and now I gotta come in here all night.
All right. Make the old man happy. If he wants it in the morning, let's have it in the morning.
Is
No,
there
not
available?
this.
The earlier the
I'm
better.
not gonna.
I wasn't kidding when I said 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna explode and then expect.
There's
A
no
lot
way
fresher.
Rachel's gonna be here at
Gratification.
7 o'clock, I can tell
I'm
you
just
that.
saying, enough of these. Is this in addition to a selectmen's meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is no selectmen's meeting next
Next
week.
week.
Next week.
Right. So we should be able to meet anytime. So the 7th is what day of the week?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and we'll see how absolutely early she can get here, and we'll put it out to you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay?
Make an effort. Or I'll meet with her and report back.
That works too.
I mean, it's up to you guys, but we gotta send this.
I mean,
out.
it doesn't, does it have to be public?
Well, you make a
No,
good
it
point.
shouldn't be public, actually, it's gotta be non.
You make a good point. Do the three of us actually need to meet with her to talk about what you want to talk about?
Unless you've got other concerns and you wanna.
No, I don't. I don't. You've addressed the concerns that I had.
Right,
So
same.
if she doesn't come up with answers to those, or our lawyer says the contract's complete rubbish,
Hmm.
then we can move forward with her. If not, then we gotta look at these other two guys.
Why don't you meet with her at your pleasure
There we go.
Okay,
Call her and ask her.
win-win.
and then report back to us at the next selectmen's meeting?
Yeah. Alright, fine. Yeah, that's fine. With them, I guess it's fine, because I didn't wanna stretch this out until June to sign the contract, but it looks like it's gonna end up getting stretched a ways.
Well,
Oh, you
what's our
talked-
next meeting?
The 13th, I believe, but,
I will, I mean, if,
but the time legal looks at the contract, you talk to her and she gets the revised bid back.
It'll take 2 weeks anyways.
You're gonna be
Yeah,
there, you're gonna be
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
alright, sorry. I
And
apologize.
and what?
David, I apologize.
You don't have to apologize. Just expect to get some shit, that's all.
No, write it up, write it up, apologize.
So as soon as you can meet, I'll meet up with her.
Moving right along.
So do you want,
All right, what do we get?
do you want a different work session for the police station?
What are you gonna do with that?
Well, we talked about this last time. We can talk about this for a couple of minutes because nothing has changed since the last time we met. We had asked that Phil come and meet us because we wanted to talk with Phil about our next step forward.
I'm
About
sorry, I apologize, I didn't get that. I thought you wanted to, I didn't realize you wanted Phil here, so that's
yeah,
my apology.
yeah, we wanted Phil, right?
I'm sorry, who's Phil?
The architect.
Okay.
Right.
We wanted Phil here so we could discuss the next steps because obviously going out to the big companies didn't work. We want to try to make this a local operation, and he's going to have to revamp how he does his specifications, RFP, that type of thing.
Is that because, what's the story on the grant aspect?
I'm willing to give up the grant
As am I.
and keep it local and see if we can get it done for the money that we have in the bank.
Yep.
I think also the public wants it badly enough that you can put another warrant article on, so that if you,
Killed, stabbed by 100 little knives.
Well, but if we can, yeah.
I don't know that we could,
I don't know that we can either, but we have to explore it.
And I mean,
Yes.
look, if we can't, if we can't get it done for one reason or another, in terms of at least get the ball really rolling because of costs, then we at least have a case for the next town meeting to go back
I
to.
think we need to break some ground before we go to the town meeting. I mean, I think we have to make a point of saying, okay, we can't do it the way the federal government wants us to do it with the grant. So we're gonna lose the grant, now we've got however many millions of dollars we've got then, about $1.8 million.
That's $1.8 million with the grant.
yeah,
Okay, so it's $1.5
So we're about
million.
1.5 without, right?
right.
1.4, 5.
$1.5 million. You know, can we get the driveway in, can we get?
Seriously, we can't build a building 3,800 square feet for $1.5 million.
Select when I built it for you, I'd make $500,000 profit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And we've all talked to some local contractors who said, if we put this out to bid again locally, would you be interested? And a couple of them said, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
bring it on.
Yeah.
So we need to.
Okay.
I mean,
We
they
do, but You just gotta run, and I have no,
So do we wanna meet with Phil on the 13th?
yeah,
Yeah,
I have no inroads into the local contractual community. But anything over $175,000, we have to have a bond, a surety bond.
right.
They don't have to pay for it,
But they have to qualify.
for it.
And what are the qualifications?
We can get that from Primex, I think, Primex 3, don't they have? Oh, Primex 3? I think they can provide us with bond requirements,
Probably.
and that, who do you fill that?
That might be good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a resistance point,
Hmm.
they don't.
It's a resistance point for one person I talked to.
Yeah, and I don't think they have any basis for the resistance. If it's not adding to the cost out of their pocket,
Right.
it just adds to the bill, so.
It's a complication, that's all. It's a variable.
Yeah. But I think if we could take certain segments of it, like the land clearing, like the driveway, we can keep all of that under $125,000 or 175, whatever the magic number is.
Hmm.
So it looks like something's happening down there. It's not.
Well, I don't wanna,
I don't wanna go to town meeting with the same empty lot with the same dying fruit trees and say, we just need more money.
I'm not interested in smoke and mirrors,
Yeah.
and I'm not interested in starting something that we can't finish.
Well, we're gonna have to start it at some point in time.
But we also have to be able to finish it.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't.
We don't need walls inside.
So how much is it gonna cost us to revamp it again without the grant?
Well, Phil's gonna charge us money.
Right.
I would expect that he'll throw probably $10,000 bill at us.
Really?
Well, if you get into the bidding process,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, 10 to 15 probably. But I don't know that you can squeeze it any tighter. I don't know if there's $300,000 worth of squeeze that can happen to that building.
Don't know. If we take the grant out, I don't know what the conditions of the grant are
Yeah, I don't either.
that drove up the price. You would know better than us.
I honestly don't, well, I don't think it did drive the price up in itself. I think the combined efforts of the former chief of police and the design community drove the building too far.
Well, we had to meet certain standards.
Only in two areas, I think it was. One was the meeting room area.
Well, there was, instead of ADA compliant, we had to be ABA compliant,
Right.
which was even stricter. And the height of a shelf in a closet had to be able to be reached by somebody in a wheelchair and things like this, and I'm not gonna call it nitpicky, yes I am, it was very nitpicky.
So it added to the cost, suffice it to say.
It helped drive it up.
I don't think it drove up 300,000.
No, but that was one of them.
And I'm not sure we avoid the ABA.
I don't know why we wouldn't, but
Well, I don't know.
we're not asking for a government grant. ADA
But
would be better.
we are a government entity, are we putting ourselves at risk
Yeah,
for
I don't know.
litigation? I don't know,
But-
that's for employees,
Yeah, there was,
we haven't had a lot of applicants for police work that are in wheelchairs.
there were
Right.
things in there that were, what I considered, at least at that time, to be wants and not needs.
Right. But I think maybe that meeting,
How do I come up to speed on this? Like, what do I need to do to come up to speed on this?
I have a lot of documents, I haven't found the exact ones that,
Because I am completely in the dark.
right,
Yeah.
so,
If I'm
I'm out the
being
next-
honest.
I'm out the next 2 days, but I'll find the right document.
Yeah.
we have
I
plans. We have plans that are here,
I have them, yeah,
okay,
but
so you can
I
look
need to
at
come
them.
up to speed too, 'cause I'm not.
And Jamie has to come up to speed, we may want to completely revamp this design.
Yeah.
I mean, they were never in the discussion, the former chief's officers were never in the thick of the discussions, so.
I mean, we need to look at it from the point of view of, let's look at minimums, realistic minimums. cost that out, and then anything we can add on to that, right? I mean,
No, you're on the right
I mean,
track.
I got the
We're
impression
gonna be backpedaling.
from somebody who knows very little and was outside the office, if you will. I got the impression that there was some fluff.
Yeah, not that much.
No.
What's at the end of it.
Right, because you guys had to revamp it
Yeah. we
already
did it
once.
Again.
Already once, yeah.
Um,
So the fluff was probably taken out the first trim. But
yeah.
either way, I'm gonna need to come up to speed on it. So anything you can do to help me come up
So
to
we may
speed.
wanna
Oh, I need to
create
have
a,
Speed and Jamie, so
we may wanna
have a
create a
meeting.
film.
Maybe we have a working session.
A film meeting? That's what we just talked about.
Meeting
Phil,
with Phil, but not at the selectmen's, or we'll be here forever. I mean, maybe we need to
Is
do just the police station.
Yeah,
So-
that's what we were gonna try to do tonight, but,
Right?
yeah.
Can I ask for a slight delay on getting Phil in here? Maybe not the next selectmen's meeting, but the one after that, so that we have some time to get up to speed. Otherwise, I'm coming into this relying solely on you.
no, I
guys.
get it. And this thing's been going on for 3-4 years anyways. Another 2 weeks isn't gonna make a difference.
I don't want to be able to not.
Okay, so we'll touch.
I want to be able to contribute.
We can touch base at the beginning of next week and set something up.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
And you think that we need a work session with Phil rather than selectmen's meeting?
You know, I think we're gonna spend a little time with him, 'cause if we really wanna come to some sort of resolution.
I mean, if you come to a selectmen's meeting, it's gonna be 30 minutes,
Yeah.
45
Right
minutes.
now.
If you want a work session, it's gonna be a couple hours
Yeah.
to hammer things out.
Well, David needs to get it up to speed,
Mm-hmm.
so that's gonna take a little bit of time, even if he studies the plans religiously for the
Yeah.
next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Cause
Yeah. No, I'm not an architect.
he's gonna say, well, why do we need this? And Phil's gonna have to go through the explanation of why you need it.
Well, maybe I can pick your brain.
Well, I'm probably not the best brain
No,
to
no.
pick.
And for what it's worth, I'm off Fridays now through the summer. So if we want to have work sessions, let's have them on a Friday.
Yeah.
We can accommodate the old man here.
Thank you.
He'll have to take some.
Fortunately,
Fridays
I think,
might be better for you.
So Fridays for me, we start an every other week Friday afternoon cycle off. So I will probably have every other Friday off. So as long as we can accommodate the every other Friday,
We can accommodate anything.
then yes, I can do that.
Okay.
So I got 2 votes.
There you go.
We will get this.
We'll figure out when Dave is
Yeah.
off on Friday
Dave and I will
afternoon.
figure out something.
And then let's have a real honest to God work session on
Yeah.
the police station. So there's nothing else like the folks that came in about the road.
So do we have the work session with Phil first, or like,
I think you and
go-
I need to go through some stuff, I must have.
and then
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Give him a heads up.
Yeah.
You know, a phone call, tell him what we're up to.
Right.
That way he
likes
doesn't
the
come in
computer
blind.
stuff, so you can ask him questions online and do all that stuff.
I'm on the cybersecurity end.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
All
sure
right.
he's not doing that.
All right. Moving on.
Signature file.
Where's my agenda? Yeah, signature file. Appointments is done. Signature file.
Did you get a chance to look through the signature file? You did, right?
Yeah.
We have a change order for the work at Union Wharf.
It's the adding of the lights.
He's adding the lights and I thought I saw 2 things.
Was it a transformer change?
Oh, the upgrade to the electrical service to accommodate the lights. Total change order is $9,063.
I'll make a motion that we sign the change order and pay it.
I'll second for discussion. Is it still under budget? I know we have to do this, but do you know if it's still under budget?
I do not know, and one thing you should be aware of is that the lights, the purchase of the actual lights, the reason that that is less than the 10,000 you're looking at earlier is because the town's paying for the lighting directly.
Right.
Okay.
So, but I think we're under like 15.
I think we are.
I know we had room.
I can look at
I
the,
just want to make sure that we
we had some
are under.
money. I'm sure we have the cash to do it, and we have some money left over from another project, but I think there's money in this warrant article, and
Okay.
it's in local and.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. One signature.
Chiropractor next week.
I went this morning,
I haven't been in, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
lay on the table, I'm interested in it.
No thanks.
Notice of appointment. We're appointing Susan, I don't remember Susan's last name, Burnside, Susan Burnside, from an alternate to a full member of the planning board. This is going to be in my selectmen's update, so I might as well hit it now. Anthony Mirando, member of the planning board, is going to become the chair, and Susan Burnside is going to become the vice chair, as well as the secretary. And we're also going to be appointing Max Ledoux as an alternate. I don't see his appointment here, but he has volunteered, and he's going to fill one of our alternate spots.
Point of order, if I may.
Absolutely.
Is it legitimate to have her as a member of the planning board and a paid employee?
Yes.
That's all I need.
I've looked that up, and it's cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Susan to the planning board full-time.
Second that?
All those in favor? Aye.
By the time I'm done this, it's going to be a line.
Yours will look like mine.
Yes, it will. It's already gotten worse by a lot.
We have a deed waiver. We had a recommendation from our tax collector about taking a property due for taxes in North Country Village, but we are not interested in taking the property due to taxes because it is a liability. So I would make a motion that we reject the tax collector's deed.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Looks like we have a timber tax levy here for property on Union Wharf Road. For the amount of $464.83.
I'll move we sign the levy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's 2 signatures on this. The gravel tax levy for property on well, it's map and tax lot, map and lot 67-1-3 for the amount of $27.20.
I'll make a motion that we sign that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Another gravel tax levy, lot 55-3-3 for your $19.20.
I'll make a motion that we sign the levy.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Another gravel tax
Gravel.
levy lot 66-2-70 for $488.08.
A motion that we sign said.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Somebody was busy digging.
And we have notice of intent to excavate, 65-3-7.
A motion that we sign intent to excavate.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another notice of intent to excavate, 55-3-3.
A motion to sign the,
I'll second.
yeah, that.
All those in favor?
Aye. I'll get it next time, honest. The intent to excavate. That's
Another notice of intent to excavate, 67-1-3.
I'll make a motion to sign.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And finally, a right of burial. Tufton Borough has sold a lot in the cemetery behind this building here.
A motion to sign.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody's buzzing.
Yeah, where are you?
When are you coming home for dinner?
Action items. Compliance alert. We talked about the DES sending us a nasty gram for the dump for not having a report submitted on time. Chris has taken care of that. That report is going out. We have a request. Notice of impending lien. This taxpayer received a notice of lien from the town for $71.57. The gentleman paid the $71.57 with an apology note and asked for forgiveness and his $71.57 back. Are we so inclined to give him his $71.57 back?
Excuse me, if you do make a motion to do so, you can't word it that way because of accrued interest. I think I put a note on it saying how it should be worded.
I mean, do we have?
I don't see a note on here from you.
It's on the action item form.
Oh,
On
is
the-
that on the front of the folder? On the front of the folder?
I would make a motion to waive the tax plus interest and fees, which would be $71.57.
No, it's gonna be more than that because days have gone by.
Which will be $71.57 plus fees,
Alright.
which I was, before you interrupted me,
Sorry, I was just not getting in trouble by Jackie.
$71.57 plus interest and fees.
I'll second. You go ahead.
I don't, is there a hardship? I mean,
I think it was a cross in the mail.
oh,
That's,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll read it out. I'm writing today to ask forgiveness for my late tax bill payment. I did not receive the original bill, but paid it in full on the first notice. I will always pay any tax payment on time in the future. I'm hoping to be forgiven of the $71.57. Thank you for your attention to this issue, and I'm not going to read his name out loud.
Okay.
How much was his tax bill?
Don't know.
Oh, we don't know.
It doesn't say the tax bill,
Okay.
but
It's a lot more than $70,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, well, I don't know. The tax amount is $48.92. Interest and penalties is 65 cents, and the cost is $22.
So the way the system works is when the tax payment comes in, it applies the payment to the interest and penalties first. That's why it shows an outstanding tax of $48,
Okay.
because
That's the way they do things.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good grief.
sorry.
That took a while. Much longer than it needed to. And we have two letters from, in the action items, two letters from residents asking that we change the direction of the dump back to what it used to be. And we talked about that at length with our superintendent of the dump and,
We'll get something on the website
Transfer
about it.
station.
yeah, transfer station. Sorry, not dump. That's it. We're not acting on that right now. Correspondence. We have thank you notes. We have many thank you notes here from people that we have donated money to from for the
Health services.
health services and all those other health agencies that we donate to. DRA. This is your official notification of the 2023 total equalization valuation. It looks like our TEV came in at, not including railroad monies, $2,087,178,684. A wetlands permit application. We don't need to take any action on this. It's just completed application. Standard dredge and fill wetlands permit application. If you're interested in looking at these, they're here in the folder. Notice from Eversource for pole licenses. The town's pole license requirement. Please be advised that based on the third party attaches to Eversource poles are as follows: Time Warner, 102 attachments. State of New Hampshire Interdepartment Communication. It looks like our Melvin Village Dam is in disrepair, and they're letting us know that they're putting us on notice that we're going to have to pay attention to the Melvin Village Dam. I would recommend that all three, I haven't read this in full, but I recommend that the three of us read this letter in its
I checked
entirety.
with our tax collector, and the town doesn't own that dam, so we're not liable, and the board is CC'd as an informational thing.
Okay, disregard my. You might want to read it for interest, anyways. Okay, but we don't have. We're not liable for it. Good to know. Town administrator, selectmen's update.
I'll be as quick as I can.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Okay, I gave you a list. I met with CIP chairman to discuss the 2024 process and doing a report, so she's happy. I'm reviewing her memo. I'm gonna send her a couple things to review. And
Are we gonna get it earlier this year?
yes, that is the goal.
Okay. Like, do we have any idea, like ballpark?
We would like to have it all done by the end of October to present
Oh, wow.
to budget and
Oh, wow, okay.
selectmen for November.
That's great.
The town received their block grant payment in the amount of almost.
That's not the highway block grant, the 16,000, is it?
It is a highway block grant, so
I thought it was more money than
it is, but it comes in different quarters.
that. Okay,
We don't get it all at once.
okay.
And then as a result of meeting with the bank, the interest on the money market account is almost doubling, so you're gonna
Yeah.
get close to $60K per year.
Nice.
Good call on that.
Mr. Stetner followed up on his April 8th email, which was in your packet last meeting, and the ZBA is not responding. He's looking for some type of response from the town.
What?
That's when you looked at the ZBA decision earlier.
Right,
So he's wanting some response to his email.
he needs to contact the ZBA.
The response is no additional information has been provided to change our decision. all the information that he's talking about today was the same information he was talking about last year. We made our decision based on the information that was provided. The ZBA,
He's asking about a different decision and why the towns,
Yeah, he's not a party to the.
yeah, that's the ZBA decision.
Yeah.
We're not a party to the
And neither
ZBA.
is he,
alright,
you know?
He's not an affected party other than being a taxpayer.
and the
Not even
ZBA
that.
feels that they don't have to respond,
No, their decision has been made.
right? And it's only up to
The
the
action is
applicant
between the ZBA
and
and
the
the
applicant,
applicant.
okay?
If the applicant appeals,
Mhm.
then that becomes a response of the ZBA, but they don't have to respond to every.
An affected party can appeal,
Alright,
but he has to demonstrate that he's an affected party,
right,
which is typically the applicant or a direct abutter or someone else directly influenced by the decision.
okay.
And that decision had nothing to do with him.
I will respond then,
Well,
so he gets a response from
Well,
them.
you know, I can't offer an opinion on what the
Right.
ZBA does.
No, we won't offer an opinion at all, I'll just let him know that we don't have a response.
Right.
We talked about the tree limbs earlier. We paid the engineering bill for an applicant, doing a subdivision because it's overdue by many months and we're hoping to lien the property and the town cannot lien the property.
But you can not give them.
Right, the planning board's aware and will not give them.
planning board
Right,
approval.
Right.
I'm almost done with the Board of Selectmen rules of procedures. When you were just going through the signature folder, method that some towns use is they list all of those things in a consent calendar, and the selectmen approve the consent calendar rather than each and every thing. You have one vote instead of 10 votes. And if you have a concern with one of them, you can say, I approve the consent calendar except item 3, that gets pulled out, so you can have discussion about that one item. So that might be a quicker way to go through your excavation and all those forms you just did. So that's something to consider. Okay.
Sure.
Ashley would like direction on helping the cemetery committee, how much time she can expend, it's not in the budget. Chip, you can probably
Yeah,
talk to this more.
So the cemetery their records are a bit of a mess. Half of them are here, or half of them are at Sue's house. And they're working on their plans for what cemeteries are gonna do work in and what work they're going to do. And there's a new cemetery book coming out, the rehash of, what's this?
Well, they want a new cemetery book, but there's no budget for it.
I thought the association was looking at that.
Telco Association does
Okay.
that, we don't do that.
All right.
Yeah.
So in order to get the records anywhere near straight, given the constraints, my thought was to put Ashley onto that task for a bit and see what she could organize as far as what lots are sold, get a spreadsheet going. And also a spreadsheet on what cemeteries they can work on, because the other issue is that they can't work on cemeteries that we haven't taken over, that have not been abandoned. And I think last year they did some work on cemeteries that weren't abandoned. And we can't spend money like that, we can only spend money on public property. And that has to be abandoned cemeteries, so just clarifying that a little bit.
How long has this been going on?
What?
This mess? Years?
Years. Yeah.
So we don't have.
Decades.
So the clerical assistant is already at 51%.
Right, if you just look at the clerical assistant budget line item, if you get out of financial administration, and look at ad hoc committee secretary, you got $2,500.
Yeah, but she's gonna probably use a lot of that with the budget committee.
We'll see.
I don't know, I think we should wait, I think we should budget for, let this happen next year. What's the difference if we wait another?
Some of it could maybe come out of the cemetery budget, you
Or
know?
we could take it out of the cemetery budget.
Right, you can always add a labor line on the cemetery, to show what happened, but
If you get in trouble taking money out of the cemetery,
no, it would be with their,
Yeah, it'd be part of
then,
the
well, they're
budget.
willing to do it,
yeah,
yes.
There's,
so,
We went through this before.
If this has been a problem for years and we're trying to do it in a year that we haven't budgeted it for, I think we should push it out to next year and budget for it.
okay. And I'm gonna say, if the cemetery committee decides they wanna spend some of their budget in a different area, they can do that.
They can do that. That's their money.
I don't, okay, maybe, so we just kick the can down the road, but the problem I see is that we're in a situation where it's not getting any better. In fact, it's probably getting a little worse. And we need to at least get the records into your record storage place that we spent a lot of money on making sure it's secure and fireproof. And we also need to get a handle on what cemeteries we're spending money on. You know, cause I know that they're have plans this year to spend some money on the one over there on 171, what is that, that's broken in two?
Yeah,
Thompson Moulton?
Thompson Moulton, because, and I know the Thompsons abandoned the cemetery, cause they were, came in and actually complained about the language, so they are taking responsibility for that. And I don't know that there's been any demarcation as far as which side, or where those graves end.
I don't know that you can, to be honest, with you, the way they're mixed in like
Yeah.
that. I'm
So-
not really privy to what's
so-
going on there, but I was. Yeah.
So, I don't think we went through the process with Moulton individually.
No,
So that cemetery's not abandoned. Now, it might have a tree hanging over it, it might have broken stones, it might be the worst thing in the world, but it's not town property. So we can't spend money on it. It's just as simple as that. And there's a little resistance on the part of a member or a couple of members of the cemetery committee about not controlling subject, so.
maybe
Anyway,
the cemetery committee should come before the board.
Maybe, but I don't, the cemeteries aren't going anywhere, and certainly the people in the cemeteries aren't going anywhere. And if we need to do this, I think we need to budget for it and do it next year. I don't think we should be dipping into funds that we, you know, clearly we have other issues that we're overspending on already. Highway department, that's falling apart already. I won't support spending any
the sky
money.
is not falling yet, Bob.
No,
I'll let you know when it starts falling.
okay. I'm not gonna support spending any money this year on that.
Okay.
Maybe the Sefton Borough Association will want to.
There you go. They'll need the information in order to do their work.
Yeah. Under process in the office, the accounts payable process improvements, the New Hampshire Electric Co-op, White Mountain Oil, Irving Propane, those are routine bills that we can just enter into the system and then give the department heads their copy. You know, if the electric bill is for the highway garage, it's always for the highway garage. And it just lets us process those more efficiently. The department heads get their copies. It saves us from getting it, they get it back to us. All department heads get them back to us at a different time frame.
Right.
Some are super efficient, some aren't so efficient. So that's a process I've put in place and we're gonna see how it works. And,
It's your job to get the bills paid on time,
yep,
and it's their job to get the invoices and whatever they need to get the bills paid to you on time. Simple as
Are
that.
we-
yep, okay.
So like the fire department gets a bill for the oil?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. They're not gonna cut a check.
No, but they approve
They have
it.
to sign off on it.
He attaches a sheet and signs off, but he can't return any oil.
Right.
So if we process it and give him a copy,
Yeah.
he has a record we get it paid. It's just an efficiency. I've requested Mountainside to start doing the billing every 2 weeks. I gave them a heads up and we went to every 2 weeks. And I asked them to start doing that by June. And we've had people call that we didn't have the YouTubes up from the Selectmen's meetings or minutes posted, so Cammie and Ashley and I are gonna work closer together and come up with a process so we're clear on who's doing what, when, and
Be
resolve
thinking
that
about
issue.
be thinking about the Facebook page as well. That's not something that I'm prepared to talk about in any detail at some point, but now, but at some point,
Okay.
I'd actually like to get that on the next selectmen's meeting for 15 minutes max, so that we can finalize that, and that way we have a way to push information out instead of requiring our users to go to the website. So let's at least can we
Read
get
only.
Oh, definitely read only. Trust me when I say
We now want to open up a
definitely
forum.
nope. And that is not what we're doing.
Okay.
Okay, and the last meeting, the treasurer was here and the agricultural commission, and there was a process that needed to happen there. So the treasurer sent the chairman all the deposits, so hopefully that's happy and going smoothly. And then the rest of the week I'm at the New Hampshire Government Finance Association conference.
Okay, have fun.
Cool.
Sounds like a ball of laughs.
And I'm gonna bring it up once more, because Cammie's here, and she called Jackie, and,
Jackie did send me a text to read if you want.
okay, go ahead, read it, please.
Okay, hold
It's
on.
about the, involuntary merger of those properties.
Jackie said, an involuntary merger means the town merged it when it shouldn't have been merged.
No,
And this is correcting that.
no.
There's two different deeds.
They are
Two
two,
different
Okay.
deeds.
two lots of record.
And there are not two lots of records on our tax map. There
Because
aren't.
the town messed
Okay,
up.
well, wait, they've slept on their goddamn rights. An involuntary merger is you've got a landlocked lot. The property owner's not willing to do anything about it, so you merge it with his property next door. That's what happened. I'm saying that's what happened. All the other people involved are dead, so that's what happened. And the only way it's gonna get changed, I don't care if you're Jackie Hunter or whoever, is we've given, both Bob and I, and David can weigh in as well, have given the property owner his options. He can either make a boundary line adjustment or he can make a right of way, but we are not signing over a landlocked lot to anybody.
Okay, does the rest of the board on that page?
Yes.
Okay,
And if you're-
sorry, it only takes two.
Well, and I don't fully understand. I don't feel comfortable weighing in on it, to be perfectly honest.
We'll bring you up to speed.
I understand the concept that we cannot create a landlocked lot.
Right.
Whether it was existing or not, we cannot create one moving forward. And by doing this, is creating one.
Okay,
And they have, that email has no ability to back those claims up with fact, that the town somehow
I
made
just
it
wanted you
some
to
crazy error.
hear the,
She can have that opinion all day long, it doesn't
Alright.
matter to me.
do you have anything for me?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, you're gonna send the contract over to you're going
Yes.
after tomorrow?
Yeah, but I'll do some stuff,
Okay, so the contract to the legal is
yes.
the biggest one,
Okay.
thanks.
Selectmen's update.
Selectmen's update. I went through most of mine. I think I had another note here. Let's see. I went through the planning board chair, vice chair, alternate, rules of procedure she already talked about. Oh, Audrey. The BTLA decision that was made on the Ratcliffe property. Do we have the right of appeal?
BTLA did come back to the town and ask what our current use, to revisit the current use on that property.
We should.
That's
Right.
a separate question.
Okay, so,
On the Ratcliffe decision, where he got an abatement, do we have the right of appeal?
The Superior Court.
Not to the BTLA? We can't appeal to the BTLA?
No, I think you just can go to the Superior Court. I mean, they have to go to the Supreme Court, I don't know, but it's the court system. Because you're taking it from a state level government organization, disputing it. What would be the case? You would want that.
Based on our decisions that we've made and not made already, I'm not sure that my opinion, and this is only my opinion,
Right.
not speaking for the Board of Selectmen, my opinion is that abatement was not warranted. Simple as that. If you start talking about other things, change of use and all that, then maybe, but based on the decisions that have happened to date, I don't think it's warranted.
But I think well, and I'm not gonna support going to Superior Court for it.
No.
I think we need to not stir the nest anymore if we can possibly avoid it. But I think they're right in that we need to look at our current use policies and also the current use that property in question.
Sure, that's a fair question,
And also
but it's a separate question.
Right, and also the change of, the alteration of terrain, which I think he's exceeded the 4 acres that's allowed before you have to get a permit. Nobody's wanted to push that part of it.
Right.
did the selectmen go to the BTLA hearing?
No.
Rod did.
I recommend in the future.
I don't know that would be helpful.
Yeah, well, that's what we have Rod for, right? But he didn't do us any favors in this one.
Right.
Yeah, but
That's for sure.
I've attended them in the past and it can be helpful.
Yeah. Well, we can't undo the.
No, but I just wanted to ask the question if it was appealable to the BTLA, and
Right.
apparently it's more complicated than that.
That's just my understanding, Bob, is that once they've cast a decision, we have to go to Superior Court.
Right.
to
Okay.
challenge it.
Selectmen's updates, either one of you?
I think I covered my solar and I had come in, and obviously we all talked about cemeteries, cause I got thrown in the middle of that. And that's about it for me. My gator got stolen, that was
Seriously?
consumed.
Stolen?
Stolen.
From your yard, or did you have it at a service center or something?
It was over at the dealer,
Oh,
Wow,
tracks and everything.
that's unfortunate.
Right on
Yeah.
camera.
They drove it right onto a trailer. Did they steal the
Yeah.
trailer too?
They stole the trailer. too.
Wow.
what?
Sounds to me like you're getting a brand new gator.
So don't talk to me about crime.
Ken Levitt asked me to call him, and something about the surveyor reestablishing a boundary line down on Phineas Graves.
Phineas Graves, yeah.
He showed up tonight,
Right.
Yep, sat for about 10 minutes.
sat, and then talked to Jim Bean
Yeah.
as Jim was leaving, and I don't know what happened after that. So I'm just telling you, it's about as far as I know. That's that he did approach me about it, but
We're not gonna hire a surveyor for him. If he wants to reestablish or establish his lines, he needs to get a surveyor to do it. I mean, he's got no perfected damages at this point. If he thinks that the line has been altered or some damage has been done, he needs to get a survey out there to do it. And then come in and say, this is what it cost me to reestablish the line, or the corner, or whatever it is he's missing. And it was because of something
that the town did.
did.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, He's asserting that the town did it.
Right. No, the surveyor who goes out and redoes whatever he's missing
Yeah,
would have to say,
alleging. Would
would have to say, it's his opinion the town must have.
All right. Any other business? Motion to yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to find out exactly what the, what happened, what was the final disclosure. Is this gonna be in the minutes, so I can address that?
For
It's on video.
That issue
oh,
with the.
oh, it's fully on video. You'll have minutes. You can watch the video when it comes out on YouTube.
But what was your final thing? What came down about it?
What came down about it was that it's a civil decision.
Okay.
Right at the end of the conversation, we discovered that it was not a town action.
The town, so.
Yeah, I know, I'm saying, that's what I wanna know, is that you've separated from the, that issue.
Town's out of it.
Right.
That's between you and your neighbor.
I'm sorry?
That's between you and your neighbor.
So, I mean, as far as the, taking care of that, that thing that.
Town's out of it.
Jim put in it, yeah.
Town's out of it.
Alright.
Well, if he was.
Because
he did it as-
has that on-
because he did it
as
as
a
a-
landscaper.
Right, exactly.
He did it as
Right.
a private contractor, not as the road agent for the town.
Right, right.
And which, we didn't know that until it was disclosed this evening, and so that's how that flipped.
Yeah. Yeah, I just need some paperwork, I'll need to know what the equipment and stuff like that is. As far as I knew, I don't even thought he was operating with town equipment when he showed up.
He's
Part of me.
he's an elected road agent.
Yeah, I understand.
When he works for the town,
And we don't have a.
he rents us the equipment. We pay for his
Outside
equipment.
landscaping and docks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying is that, and I don't have a problem with that, I just wanna know where I stand legally with that box he put in the ground that is a foot into her property. Well, most of it's in the road.
I'm not gonna comment at all.
No, you shouldn't, but I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there right now.
Yeah.
You asked her if there's anything, and I'm just kinda like, where I stand, as far as that can goes. Cause she wants to know who's gonna maintain it.
Well, my
Jim feels it's gonna be, it's
my
gonna work
underst-
fine, but.
My understanding was that she basically absolved herself, and not so much as absolved herself, but took on the understanding that it was then a civil issue and not a town issue.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that she said, that
No,
that it
she's
was
already-
hers.
Once we discovered that it was not a town issue,
Yeah.
conversation over.
Yeah,
Have a nice night. Good luck with
But
your.
any paperwork she sent into you, is that a privy for me to view or what?
Well, she sent a letter. I mean, that's public information.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's fine.
then yes.
I mean, all you got to do is ask Audrey, and she'll
Yeah, well,
provide
I'm
you
just
a
asking.
Yep.
copy of the
Yep,
letter.
you can, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just so I know what's going back, cause I got a letter too, but it doesn't, I don't know.
I mean,
what
we
to say.
didn't offer a written response.
Right, right.
It was, everything that was discussed here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever we could provide for you is what she provided to us.
Right.
So, but it's public information, and so you're,
Good, that's all. So I can put it together, so I can make a sound judgment, a
Yeah.
decision on what I'm doing going forward.
Yep.
So I'm trying to take care of a good neighbor, but not have any.
not liability, I understand.
Exactly, I
Yep.
don't wanna be in the,
Yep. She just sent us a letter. That's about
that's
it.
cool, that's cool.
I'm gonna
Yep.
make a motion that we.
And I appreciate it.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At some point, you guys need to